The 500th one. The mission is completed. In the dark building, a thin figure stood in front of a corpse, whispering indifferently. His blue eyes shone with a faint light in the dark night, which was extremely conspicuous. Beep, beep, beep. Suddenly, a shocking sound came from the figure. The small figure took out a strangely shaped mobile phone from his pocket, glanced at it, and then pressed the connect button. Hey, Dad, what's the matter? Da da da. There was a sound of footsteps in the dark corridor. Chiya put his hands in his pockets and walked slowly towards the end of the corridor. Not far away, there is a tall figure at this time. This figure is leaning against the wall of the corridor with arms folded and eyes closed, as if waiting for Chiya. Long black hair, delicate facial features on a fair face, exuding a cold and seductive aura. This person is none other than Chiya's eldest brother, Ilmi Zoldyck, the eldest son of this generation of the Zoldyck family. Sure enough, when Chiya came to him and was about to pass by him, Yeermi opened her indifferent, colorless eyes and indifferent mouth, and she was very dissatisfied with Chiya's behavior in words. Chiya, I heard that you dismissed the mission given to you by your father and accepted the assassination mission of a gangster boss. Yeah. Chiya nodded, and then continued to walk forward, as if she wasn't going to talk to him. Chiya, you are still so naive. Every time you accept a mission, you only accept this kind of mission. The Zoldyck family's assassination mission does not distinguish between good and evil. Looking at Chiya's leaving back, Yeermi said calmly, as long as one day you're a member of the Zoldyck family, one day you're a killer, and that never changes the fact that your hands are stained with blood. You don't care about me. Chiya rolled her eyes when she heard this. After finishing speaking, Chiya continued to walk forward. Behind him, Yeermi frowned slightly, and there were little waves in his empty eyes. Chiya is not from this world. It's not right to say that. Chiya is indeed a person from this world, but Chiya has the memory of the previous life. Chiya is a time traveler and a reborn person who transmigrated into the newly born Chiya Zoldyck and became a member of the Zoldyck family. The next head of the Zoldyck family. And this world, which Chiya is very familiar with, is an anime world he had seen in his previous life, named Hunter x Hunter. The Zoldyck family is a family of killers that has been passed down for thousands of years. Chiya has become a member of the Zoldyck family, and is also the next head of the family. Naturally, he has been trained by the Zoldyck family as a killer since he was a child. Since the age of 2, Chiya has been trained by the Zoldyck family. He has been receiving initiation of electric current since he was born. It is the initiation that begins to accept high voltage current. From the age of 5, Chiya began to accept tasks and go out to perform tasks. It has been 3 years now. Chiya is 8 years old. Although as a killer, Chiya has always picked those mission targets with blood on their hands and crimes all over their bodies, and has never shot at innocent people. The education received in the previous life is deeply rooted in Chiya's heart. Although he was influenced by the Zoldyck family after rebirth, Chiya's character is still gentle. Chiya can attack those sinful people with blood on their hands, but he will never. Don't allow yourself to do anything to those innocent people because of the assassination mission. Most of the people on the Zoldyck family list are heinous people, but there are also some who are not, but are wanted by their opponents for various reasons and are on the list. Even most of the people who are on the Zoldyck family list are some great good people. Just because they are in the way of others, they are hated by others, so they are on the Zoldyck list. Chiya will not touch this kind of people, because this is Chiya's bottom line. This is also the reason why ill fans will be dissatisfied with Chiya. However, if you are dissatisfied, please be dissatisfied. It is none of my business if you are dissatisfied. Silently complaining, Chiya came to the end of the corridor. After entering the password, the metal door slowly went up, revealing the dark room inside. Chiya stepped in and walked towards the only luminous point. It was a cloud bed, behind which there was a faint blue light shining, and a tall man was sitting on it. This man was none other than the father of Chiya in this life, the head of the Zoldyck family, Silva Zoldyck. Silva Zoldyck's expression was very calm, but it gave off a sense of majesty without anger. Perhaps an ordinary person standing in front of Silva would be intimidated by the majesty of Silva. However, Chiya didn't feel it at all. Facing Silva, his expression was very calm. In this aspect, the two are unexpectedly similar, and they both look indifferent. I'm back, Chiya. Looking at Chiya, Silva Zoldyck greeted lightly. Well, I'm back, Dad. Chiya replied with a nod. Then he pulled a chair from the side and sat on it. Mission completed. Silva nodded and asked. It's perfectly done. The boss of the Lubin family has been killed by me. Chiya replied with a nod. Have you alerted his men? Silva continued to ask. Not at all. Maybe they still don't know that their boss has gone to hell. Chiya said flatly. That's right, that's good. Silva nodded. Afterwards, he watched Chiya's face change slightly, and sighed with emotion. You have done every task perfectly. It would be great if you could abandon your naive thoughts. Hearing this, Chiya fell silent. Silva also knew Chiya's attitude, and didn't bother about it too much. Next, Chiya and Silva started their daily chat. After the two chatted for half an hour, Chiya got up and left here. It's fine if you don't have that naive idea, Chiya. Looking at the closed door again, Silva Zoldyck sighed again. After leaving the room where Silva was, Chiya walked in another direction. Soon, Chiya came to a room. This is a very spacious empty room. It is the place where Chiya practiced. Since awakening Nen more than a year ago, Chiya asked Silva for such a practice room to practice her Nen. That's right. Although he is only 8 years old, as a time traveler, Chiya naturally cannot be ignorant of the existence of Nen like Chiya in the original book. He didn't know the existence of Nen until he went to the Sky Arena after participating in the Hunter experiment at the age of 12. As a time traveler, Chiya understands the nature of this world after knowing that she is reborn as Chiya. The world of Hunter x Hunter. Therefore, after Chiya was 6 years old, he began to practice Nen alone. And it is not awakening through the stimulation of other people's thoughts as in the original work, but a step-by-step practice. Cultivate according to the Nen cultivation method that I knew in my previous life. After more than 3 months of practice, Chiya has naturally cultivated Nen. The fact that Chiya cultivated Nen without anyone's guidance also caused quite a commotion in the Zoldyck family, but it only surprised Silva and others a little, not to the point of shock. After all, in this world, there are many people who suddenly awaken the ability of Nen. In the original book, Mai is one of them. He suddenly awakened when he played army chess with Meruem, the Chimera Ant King. In the training room, Chiya sat cross-legged, clasped his hands together, and a faint aura emanated from his body surface, constantly wandering around. This is the specialty of this world Nen. Wrapped around Chiya's body is the Nen Chi unique to the Nen. At this time, Chiya is entanglement in the 4 major elements of Nen, practicing her Nen strength. At a certain moment, the Nyen Chi on Chiya's body suddenly became violent, and then there was a creaking sound. The Nyen Chi on Chiya's body changed dramatically at this moment, from wrapping to hair, and Nyen Chi turned into a blue electric arc, radiating from Chiya's body to the outside world. The blue arcs are like pythons waiting for an opportunity, constantly wreaking havoc. The entire training room turned blue at this moment. The next moment, Chiya suddenly opened his eyes. The blue electric arc shrank into Chiya's body at this moment. Chiya's whole body was shrouded in blue light. Electric snakes sprang out from time to time, and the silver hair stood upside down like lightning. With a slight movement of his eyes, Chiya's body instantly disappeared in place. At this moment, the entire training room was covered with blue arcs, and Chiya's figure kept appearing and disappearing at such a high speed, leaving afterimages in the training room. In just 1 minute, the entire practice room was filled with Chiya's figure. This situation lasted for more than half an hour. It took half an hour for this to disappear. Chiya reappeared at the place where she was meditating before. At this time, Chiya has changed back to its original appearance, and the lightning all over his body has also disappeared. Standing where he was, Chiya panted slightly. Sure enough, is this my shortcoming? After panting slightly, he looked at his hands, and there was no electric arc in them. Chiya muttered silently. Chiya just said that the ability used is nothing else, it is the super speed used by Chiya in the original book. Flash relying on the memories of her previous life, Chiya spent a month cultivating the applied skills. This is a very powerful Nen technique that can be very powerful when done well. However, the disadvantage is that it consumes a lot of power. This point, even the current Chiya is still the same. Although Chiya has tried his best to cultivate his own weakness, but the benefits obtained are not great. It just extended from the first 10 minutes to the current half hour. Moreover, it is a very big flaw that the power must be replenished after each use. Once the power is exhausted when fighting against people, it will be very passive and the combat power will drop sharply. It seems that there is no way to change it through self-cultivation. We need to use external force to eliminate this weakness. However, what should we do? Sighing slightly, Chiya thought silently. Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing 500 assassination missions. The enhancer system is officially activated. Congratulations to the host for activating the enhancer system and getting a gift package for beginners. Just as Chiya was thinking, an ethereal voice sounded in Chiya's mind. Chiya was startled, and his expression was full of surprise. Goldfinger, the standard equipment for traversers. Just like the cheats from time-traveling novels that I read in my previous life, the cheats that Chiya obtained through time travel are also a system. A system called reinforcement. 8 years have passed before your golden finger appeared. System, is your internet speed dropping frames? Secretly complaining, Chiya didn't make a fuss, and began to check her belated golden finger. System, let me introduce you. Chiya spoke to the system in his mind. The next moment, a message emerged from Chiya's mind, and Chiya's pupils shrank slightly, and began to receive this message. After more than a minute, Chiya completely received all the information transmitted by the system. However, the corners of Chiya's mouth twitched slightly after receiving the information. At this time, in Chiya's mind, there is an attribute panel waiting quietly. As for why the corners of Chiya's mouth twitched, it was because the attribute panel established by his own system was too simple. Name. Chiya Zoldyck ability. Conjurer Nen Super Speed Disability, 1000. Note. The number of reinforcement points required for the next reinforcement is in brackets. Reinforcement points. 0 items. Aluminum alloy yo-yo, novice gift pack. Such a large attribute panel, just a few lines. Shaking his head speechlessly, Chiya accepted the reality. Enhancer system. The main ability lies in the strengthening point. As long as there are reinforcement points, enough quantity, and enough brains, Chiya can strengthen anything. Chiya can use reinforcement points to strengthen an ordinary wooden stick into a magical blade, and can also use reinforcement points to strengthen her own strength, and even make up for her own lack of ability. Just like the Nen on Chiya, as long as there are enough reinforcement points, Chiya's speed can be strengthened, and even use the reinforcement points to make up for the lack of ability. The shortcoming of Chiya's super speed can be made up for by strengthening points. As long as there are enough strengthening points, Chiya's super speed can become flawless and there will be no shortage of power. However, these are all based on sufficient strengthening points. The current Chiya doesn't have any strengthening points in her body. The only thing there is the novice spree lying quietly in the system space. System. Open the novice gift bag. Looking at the glowing gift bag lying in the system space, Chiya opened it without hesitation. Ding. Congratulations to the host for opening the novice gift package. You will get a random chance to awaken the Nen system once, strengthen your ability once, and get 500 enhancement points. Hearing the system's prompt, Chiya frowned slightly. However, soon, Chiya's brows relaxed. Because Chiya understood the functions of these 3 items in the novice gift pack. The first one is the opportunity to awaken the Nen system. Nen is divided into 6 systems. In addition to Chiya's conjurer system, there are 5 more, namely the trait system, enhancer, emitter, manipulator, and transmuter. Everyone has a main system, like Chiya, just conjurer. Of course, there are occasional variations. In the original book, when Kurapika opened the red eye, all 6 series were fully opened. This is variation. The Nen system awakening opportunity allows Chiya to add a Nen system. After using the system awakening, Chiya can get systems other than conjurer. And the second type, ability strengthening, as the name suggests, is to strengthen the ability of the ability person. The use of ability enhancement will make the Nen power of the Nen stronger, but Chiya doesn't know how much it can be strengthened. However, there is a certain degree of high probability. As for the final strengthening point, this is very easy to understand. Strengthening points, the number of points used for strengthening. System. Use the random Nen system awakening opportunity. Without hesitation, Chiya directly used the Nen system's awakening opportunity. Ding. Use the Nen awakening opportunity. Congratulations to the host's awakening trait Nen space. As soon as the system's voice fell, Chiya's mind energy changed suddenly, and in the mind energy, a characteristic different from conjurer quietly appeared. Chiya knew what it was, a trait unique to the traits Nen. The Nen of each system has different characteristics, and because of this, different abilities will be developed. However, space, this characteristic has a lot of room for development. Carefully perceiving the characteristics of Nyen Chi in the body, Chiya thought silently. Immediately afterwards, Chiya's attention was once again placed on strengthening abilities. System. Use the ability enhancement on super speed. Chiya said silently in his mind. The shortcoming of super speed. This point Chiya can't escape at all. Now that there is a solution, Chiya doesn't need to think about it at all. Chiya doesn't want to run out of battery halfway when playing against others in the future. Then it will not only be embarrassing, but may also be fatal. Ding. Congratulations to the host for using ability enhancement, strengthening ability, super speed, disabled. Congratulations host for obtaining super speed. Name. Chiya Zoldyck abilities. Conjurer Nen speed. 1000, trait Nen space, 5000, note. In brackets are the reinforcement points required for the next reinforcement. Strengthening points. 500 item. Aluminum alloy yo-yo. It was disabled before, but it has disappeared now, that is to say, the shortcoming of my lack of follow-up power has disappeared. Talking to himself, Chiya felt that the electric current in his body had begun to circulate, and he couldn't live without it. Interest. Solved. However, the next reinforcement of divine speed requires a lot of reinforcement points. A full 1,500 is not enough, and the trait system is even more perverted. Sloppy. Chiya found that the number of points required for the next enhancement of the ability after using the ability enhancement has not changed at all, and it still only needs 1000 points. This made Chiya feel that he was a bit sloppy, but there was nothing he could do about it. Because he only has 500 strengthening points now, he can't strengthen the super speed at all. Shaking his head slightly, Chiya is not someone who sticks to the horns, so he quickly saw it away. Get a feel for your body. The rapid improvement not only allowed Chiya to solve the problem of insufficient power, but also made Chiya's Nen much stronger. Now Chiya feels completely different from before. The quality is more refined, and Chiya feels that her strength has increased by at least 2 levels. But even so, it's still not enough. I need more, stronger strength, at least to reach Sylva's level of strength. No, stronger. Only in this way can the family change that decision. Time passed slowly. 3 days later. In the large airport of the capital of the Republic of Bartocha, Chiya's figure appeared here. Chiya is going to a place from here. Wetland, the lair of fraudsters, and the habitat of rare and exotic beasts. Strengthening points. Chiya got information on how to get strengthening points from the system. That is life. Killing a life can give Chiya access to reinforcement points. Depending on the life level of the life body killed, Chiya can obtain different numbers of reinforcement points. In addition, when you get some items that contain strange powers, you can also sacrifice them through the system to get strengthening points. Chiya doesn't know what special items are, but Chiya knows 2 ways to kill powerful life forms. The first is the Nen, and the second is the powerful monsters in various secret realms in this world. Of course, Chiya can also obtain strengthening points by killing ordinary people, but this method is obviously impossible. Although Chiya is a killer, it is impossible to be so unscrupulous. The only way is to kill naughty monsters and powerful monsters. However, the number of Nen people is very small, and Chiya has no grievances with them, so Chiya does not want to do anything to other Nen people unless it is absolutely necessary. Of course, there are exceptions for provoking Chiya actively. For such Nen people, Chiya doesn't mind turning them into his powerful resources. Chiya's current idea is to deal with those rare and exotic beasts. In the world of Hunter x Hunter, there are not a few magic lands and secret lands. There are many rare and exotic beasts in them. Moreover, each of them has a huge vitality and a very strong strength. Except for Nen, Chiya collects skills point of choice. When it comes to secret lands and magic lands, the first thing that comes to Chiya's mind is the wetland. After all, it is a secret realm that has appeared in memory. My guest, I can only go here. I don't dare to go to the place in front. A taxi driver said to the back seat of a taxi parked more than 2,000 meters outside Shamail wetland. Well, yes, let's go here. Chiya, who was sitting on the back seat, nodded slightly, opened the car door and walked out after paying. Looking at the handful of kinyas in his hand, the driver had a smile on his face. Wetlands, this is a frightening place. Few taxi drivers are willing to come here, even at such a long distance. The reason why he took the risk to bring Chiya here this time is because Chiya paid too much, so he took the risk. Guest, if you want to return to the city from here, you can call me. The driver handed out a business card to Chiya from the car window, said with a smile, and then quickly start the car, and leave here quickly after a turn. On the way back, there was a happy smile on his face. Although this trip was dangerous, he also made a lot of money. The fee Chiya gave was enough for him to run a rental for a month. As for why Chiya came to this place as a child, that's not in his business. For the driver's business card, Chiya was silent for a moment, reached out to take it, and then ignored him. He set his sights on the smoky wetland. Sheesh. Let me see how much help you monsters can provide me. Chiya muttered to himself with a slight hook on the corner of his mouth. The next moment, Chiya turned into a streak of shadows and disappeared towards the direction of Shimmel Wetland. Even without using super speed, Chiya's speed is still very fast, but in just over 2 minutes, Chiya crossed a distance of more than 2,000 meters and entered the wetland. Once entering the wetland, Chiya's vision was severely affected. The dense fog around her made Chiya unable to see beyond 5 meters. Chiya's talent is very strong, although she is still young, but after more than a year of practice, Chiya's current strength has reached the level of Chiya in the Chimera Ant chapter in the original book, but after entering this place, Chiya he didn't dare to relax at all. Hunter x Hunter's world's magic and secret realms can be said to be extremely dangerous, and there are various crises in them. Even if you are confident enough in your own strength, you must not be careless in the demon and secret realms, and you must always be vigilant to prevent danger. Come suddenly. In the magical and secret realms, once you relax your vigilance, you are not far from death. This is what Chiya found in the autobiography about the treasure hunters in the library of the Zoldyck family before coming here. In the autobiography of those treasure hunters, they all emphasized this point, emphasized the horror of the magic and secret realms, and warned future generations not to relax once they decide to enter these places. Of course, if you have the strength of the world's top 5 ninjas, then it's as if they didn't say anything. To reach that point, as long as you don't go to the Dark Continent to die, you can be said to be rampant in the secret realm of the human world. Sure enough, when Chiya recalled the admonition in his mind about the autobiography of the treasure hunter that he had read before, the crisis had already arrived. Chiya, who was running, felt the ground under his feet suddenly become soft. Chiya was startled for a moment, and then jumped up without hesitation. Afterwards, Chiya saw that the ground he stepped on before suddenly turned into 2 halves, and then closed together. Take a closer look. What kind of ground is this? It is clearly a piranha that hides extremely deeply. If it wasn't for Chiya's vigilance all the time and his agility, he might have been captured. Looking at this huge piranha, Chiya's eyes sparkled. Coincidentally, I came here this time to find you rare and exotic beasts. With a slight shake of the sleeve, a silver light flashed, and 2 yo-yos exuding silver brilliance appeared in Chiya's hands. These are made of aluminum alloy, and they were made by Chiya's big brother. Each of them weighs 50 kilograms. If an ordinary person is hit, he will definitely die on the spot. In midair, Chiya's hands crossed each other, and the yo-yo turned into an afterimage and attacked. Laugh. Boom. With just one blow, the piranha that took Chiya as its prey was wiped out by Chiya, its body exploded, and blood splattered everywhere. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing the piranha and gaining 23 enhancement points. Hearing the reminder sound in his mind, the corner of Chiya's mouth twitched slightly. Does one have more than 20 points? Not bad. After reaching out and flicking the disgusting blood off the yo-yo, Chiya took the yo-yo back and then dropped it to the ground. However, just when Chiya landed towards the ground, where Chiya landed, the ground cracked again, and then a scalp full of dense fangs opened, and it bit Chiya. Chiya's eyes widened immediately. Nima, you really can't be careless for a moment. With a slight movement of his hands, Chiya was ready to throw the yo-yo again to destroy the big mouth. However, at this moment, a black shadow shot towards Chiya from the big mouth. The speed was so fast that even Chiya's eyes couldn't keep up, let alone avoid the black shadow. Chiya only had time to cover her chest with her hands. The next moment, a terrifying force landed in Chiya's hands. Chiya only felt a powerful force coming, and the whole person flew upside down towards the sky. And the big mouth under Chiya also suddenly broke off the ground, and a big mouth with only limbs and no body leapt up high, with a black shadow, biting towards Chiya. Hum. With a muffled sound, Chiya's entire body was directly swallowed by the big mouth. After swallowing Chiya, the giant mouth licked the big mouth, but the faceless situation made it easy to distinguish the meaning of satisfaction at this time. Afterwards, the giant mouth landed downward, ready to hide again, waiting for the arrival of the next prey. However, before it landed on the ground, a muffled sound came from its body. The giant mouth couldn't help but struggled in pain. The next moment, a blue voice tore apart the body of the giant mouth, and rushed out from its back. The raging thunder snake enveloped its broken body, tearing it to pieces in an instant. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing the symbiotic giant frog and gaining 29 enhancement points. You can't be careless at all. Landing on the ground, Chiya looked at the disgusting mucus on her body, and the corner of her mouth twitched slightly. You really can't be careless for a moment. Just a little slack, Chiya was treated like this. Those treasure hunters' warnings are true. If a person who has not learned to read comes here, it is estimated that there will be more or less bad luck. At this moment, Chiya's eyes narrowed slightly, and then the yo-yo ball in his left hand shot out instantly. Only a sharp scream came from Chiya's left side, and a black shadow fell from midair. Retracting the yo-yo, Chiya looked away. A hideous little monster with a black body and a mouth full of fangs was lying there silently. There is a huge gap in its chest. That's where Chiya's yo-yo hits. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing the symbiotic frog and gaining 19 enhancement points. It's not the same as the monster just now, so is it a symbiotic relationship? It's really interesting. Looking at the hideous little monster on the ground, Chiya thought carefully for a while, then laughed. Shaking his head slightly, Chiya reached out and pulled the attribute panel out of the void. This time I came to the wetland to destroy these rare and exotic beasts to obtain strengthening points. Sure enough, there was a change in the column of strengthening points, from the original 500 to 571. The death of the two exotic beasts just now allowed Chiya to gain 71 strengthening points. This made Chiya not only a little surprised, but even after hearing the prompt, Chiya would be even more excited to see the increase in her reinforcement points. It's just two magical beasts, and they have obtained so many enhancement points. If there are more than a dozen or 20 more, I can gather enough enhancement points for the next enhancement of the speed. Strengthened once before, so that the speed of the speed has no defects, and the strength has become stronger by about 2 layers. I don't know what kind of changes the speed of the speed will bring to me if I continue to strengthen it. Thinking of this, Chiya looked at the wetland shrouded in thick fog, and the eyes in his eyes became much hotter. This place is simply my own paradise. I should have come to this place a long time ago. The monsters here are raging. I don't know how many monsters there are. If all of these were killed, how many enhancement points would he be able to obtain? Now Chiya can't wait for these monsters to attack him again. Stepping forward with both feet, Chiya turned into an afterimage and galloped again. This time, Chiya did not guard against it, but took the initiative to look for the traces of monsters and hunt. All of a sudden, the surrounding area of the wetland became noisy. The magical beast that was found by Chiya and attacked Chiya was ruthlessly killed by Chiya's powerful strength. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing, and getting 30 enhancement points. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing, and getting 32 enhancement points. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing, and getting 24 enhancement points. A series of reminders kept ringing in Chiya's mind, and this sound made Chiya absolutely wonderful. After more than an hour of hunting, Chiya finally gathered enough reinforcement points for the second reinforcement of the speed. Name. Chiya Zoldyck abilities. Conjurer Nen speed. 1000, trait Nen space, 5000, note. In brackets are the reinforcement points required for the next reinforcement. Strengthening points. 1056 item. Aluminum alloy yo-yo. Looking at the number of strengthening points in the attribute panel, a smile slowly appeared on Chiya's face. It's not easy, killing more than 30 monsters is finally enough. Chiya can't wait to use this hard-won spoils. System, strengthen the speed. Without hesitation, Chiya ordered directly to the system. Ding. Use 1000 enhancement points to strengthen the speed. Congratulations to the host for getting the speed thunder. The system's prompt sounded again in Chiya's mind. As soon as the words fell, Chiya felt an incredible change in her body. The first is Chiya's Nian Qi. If the Nian Qi in Chiya's body before was about the size of a small lake, then although the Nian Qi in Chiya's body has not directly become Wangyang Dahai, at least it is a large lake. The second is the electricity in Chiya's body. The moment the system's voice fell, Chiya felt that the originally very gentle electricity in his body suddenly became violent, full of powerful aggressiveness and destructiveness. Chiya found that the electricity in his body at this moment, electricity is transformed into thunder and lightning in nature. Name. Chiya Zoldyck abilities. Conjurer Nen speed thunder, 5000, trait nen space, 5000. Note. In brackets are the reinforcement points required for the next reinforcement. Strengthening points. 56 item. Aluminum alloy yo-yo. Looking at the changes in the property panel, Chiya was lost in thought. Squeak. A ray of blue lightning emerged from Chiya's hands, and the color it emitted was more brilliant and dazzling than the previous electricity. Although the color displayed by Chiya before using electricity is also blue, but it is lighter, just light blue. But, now, after Chiya used the lightning in his body, its color became very dark, directly turning into a faint blue. Swish. Boom. Chiya threw the lightning out with a convenient throw. The next moment, a giant tree not far in front of Chiya was directly blown to pieces in Chiya's eyes, and his body was smashed to pieces. Chiya's pupils shrank suddenly. This kind of power. It's just a wisp, but it has such power. Looking at his empty palm, Chiya couldn't calm down for a long time. Have you strengthened your power? This kind of destructive power is more than 5 times that of mine before. It is worthy of lightning, and it cannot be compared with electricity. In other words, my attack power has also been compensated. The basis of Chiya's speed development is electricity and current. The reason why it is electricity and current is because of Chiya's physique obtained from electric shocks since childhood. Compared with moves, Chiya's super speed only has an advantage in speed, but its destructive power is not strong. Chiya has always regarded super speed as an auxiliary ability and speed as power. Chiya has also been thinking about how to improve the power of her nen. Unexpectedly, this strengthening will directly relieve Chiya's troubles. Transforming from electricity to lightning, its power is terrifying. It's just a wisp, and it has this kind of destructive power. I don't know what kind of destructive power it will have if it is shot with all its strength. I really want to try it. However, Chiya looked at the attribute panel. Has the number of points required for the next strengthening of the supernatural speed become the same as the space ability of the special type? However, it also shows that this trait in my body is Nen's strength and specialness. Supernatural speed is the result of my practice for more than a year, and it has been strengthened twice, but it can barely catch up with the space ability of the trait system that has not been strengthened. I don't know what kind of wonderful ability I can develop with this spatial ability. I'm looking forward to it a little bit. After leaving here this time, I will start to practice the spatial ability of this special trait. However, before that, let's wreak havoc here. If you want to strengthen these abilities, you need a lot of strengthening points. Muttering in a low voice, Chiya looked out of the thick fog. The next moment, Chiya's body turned into an afterimage, instantly submerged in the thick fog. It seems that the killing was a bit fierce just now. Running in the thick fog, the corners of Chiya's mouth twitched, and his expression was slightly speechless. Acting again, Chiya was originally planning to see if he could get some more strengthening points while it was still dark. However, Chiya had visited the outside of the wetland several times, and Chiya didn't find another monster in a daze. Chiya didn't believe it. There were only a few monsters around the wetland. Although it is a monster, it also knows how to seek good luck and avoid bad luck. Chiya shook his head and said with some emotion. The monsters in the wetland are very good at dodging and hiding. If they didn't take the initiative to show up, even Chiya would find it very difficult to find their tracks. Just like when Chiya came in and met before. The reason why the strengthening points needed for one strengthening were so smoothly collected just now is because these monsters showed up actively when Chiya was looking for them, so Chiya was able to destroy them. However, now, after witnessing Chiya kill chickens and dogs without any damage, these monsters have also learned to behave. Knowing that Chiya is not something they can provoke, they hide one by one. Avoid it for fear. Should we just leave like this? Leaning against a tree, Chiya looked at the front where he couldn't see his fingers, and thought carefully. This time Chiya came here because he wanted to use the existence of monsters here to gain strengthening points. However, now it seems that this situation can be said to be a death before the success of the teacher. Just got more than 500, and things developed in a direction that Chiya didn't expect. As long as Chiya continues to stay here, the monsters outside the wetland probably won't show up anymore. In other words, Chiya's purpose of continuing to stay here is gone, and continuing to stay here is just a waste of time. However, if Chiya were to leave like this, Chiya would not be reconciled. Raising his eyes slightly, Chiya looked through the thick fog to the direction deep in the wetland. Or, go into the depths of the wetland. The monsters in the depths of the wetland are definitely stronger than the ones outside. By killing the monsters there, I can get a lot of reinforcement points. Chiya thought silently while looking in the direction of the depths of the wetland. If the outskirts of the Shamail wetland are dangerous, it is not a real forbidden area. Ordinary people with some martial arts skills are here. As long as they act cautiously, there is still a possibility of survival, although the chance is very small. Not even 10%. Don't look at how many people survived the hunter experiment in the original book. That's because the other people who came into the wetland with them and participated in the trial died instead of them. Because of the existence of other contestants, the eyes of the monsters in Shimel wetland were attracted, and the remaining contestants survived by luck. As for the Nen people who have practiced Nen entering here, although they are not 100% sure, they have at least an 80% chance of surviving. Not to mention the ones like Hisoka. Places like the outskirts of the Wetmele wetland are just an amusement park for perverts like Hisoka to come and go at will. The depth of the Wetmele wetland is completely different from the periphery, completely two worlds. The depths of the Wetmele wetland is an extremely dangerous place. Even for Nen masters like Hisoka and Ilmi, it is very dangerous to enter it. It will threaten your life, and you cannot guarantee your own safety. The depth of the Wetmele wetland is very dangerous. Up to now, human beings have not fully determined the degree of danger. It is a forbidden area and a development area. Some unknown Nen masters often enter it for adventure and development. Developing forbidden areas is the job of treasure hunter. Many treasures hunter is keen to develop various secret realms in the human continent, and then makes a biography of what he has seen and heard in the development of secret realms, spreads it out, and gives guidance to latecomers. In other secret realms, most treasure hunters have harvested them. Only in the depths of the Wetmele wetland, in this place, many treasure hunters have fallen here. Therefore, the outside world's understanding of Shimel wetland is only a few words, and there is very little useful information. In the biography of many treasure hunters that Chiya saw from the family's collection of books, there are very few descriptions of the depths of the wetlands in Shimel, and most of them are just warnings, so as not to lose their lives. Chiya's current strength is not even comparable to Hisoka and Yurmi. It is too early for Chiya to enter here. Therefore, Chiya was very entangled with the idea that came to him suddenly. Do you want to go in or not? On the one hand, I worry about my own safety, on the other hand, the unknown is always easy to attract. Chiya is very concerned about the situation deep in the wetland. Leaning under the big tree, Chiya thought about it for half an hour and struggled for half an hour. In the end, Chiya still made a decision. Into the depths of Wetmele wetlands. Regarding the situation inside, Chiya is very clear about the danger. However, Chiya has confidence in her Nen. Once something goes wrong, Chiya will use divine speed to leave immediately. Chiya has never been a person who likes to procrastinate. When she had a certain idea, Chiya immediately started to take action, rushing towards the depth of Shimel wetland. On the other side, in the depths of the Wetmele wetland. Somewhere in the depths of the Wetmele wetland, there was a young girl running away in a very embarrassing figure. Behind him, in the dense fog, a huge figure followed closely behind. Young girls are in danger all the time, and if they are not careful, they will die here. However, even so, the young girl still did not drop the huge egg in her hand, holding it tightly and not letting go. I won't give it back to you, just give up. The young girl shouted confidently while running. Behemoth behind. Ah! Shrill shrieks resounded continuously in the thick fog, and the young girl ran away with no image, holding a laughing egg with a human head tightly in her hand. I will never return this egg to you. This girl will rescue it from your clutches. While fleeing, the young girl screamed without forgetting righteous words. The huge monster behind. Nima, this is the first time I have encountered this situation. This human being is too shameless. She stole my air while I was out, and she said such shameless words when I found out, and she has such a thick skin at a young age. How did she become so thick-skinned? The gigantic monster attacked uninterruptedly, wanting to tear the little thing in front of it into pieces, but at the same time, it was very speechless in its head. The screams still resounded. On the other hand, Chiya, who entered the depths of the Wetmele wetland, was extremely cautious, always alert to the surrounding situation, and tried his best to hide his breath when he acted. It's so quiet. Walking cautiously in the dense fog, Chiya thought silently. Since entering here, Chiya hasn't heard any movement, not even the slightest sign of trouble. If it wasn't for the thick fog drifting slowly, Chiya would have thought that time here had stopped. Click. At this moment, Chiya suddenly felt that his foot stepped on something, followed by a clear cracking sound. This sound was unusually obvious in this silent space. Chiya's pupils shrank suddenly. Without hesitation, he activated Nen, jumped up and jumped out towards the back. Sure enough, the next moment, a black shadow appeared in the place where Chiya was just now. After the black shadow jumped into the air, it didn't stop, but rushed towards Chiya at an extremely fast speed. Just listening to the sound of, Chiya saw a figure appearing in front of him. At such a close distance, Chiya could see the appearance of this black shadow. Huge head, petite body, slender limbs covered with green scales, green hair, blood-red eyes, a big cracked mouth on the face, densely covered with several layers of fangs, shaped it was extremely hideous, like a demon. This figure attacked Chiya at an incredible speed. The sharp claws radiated a cold light, and grabbed Chiya from top to bottom. Chiya has no doubt that once caught by this claw, even if he has Nen Chi defense, he will have to shed a layer of skin. After all, Chiya's Nen nature is conjurer, not enhancer, and the defense is not strong. Thunder flashed, and Chiya instantly entered a state of super speed. With a slight movement of the body, Chiya disappeared in place. When it reappeared, it was already behind the shadow. Thunder. The brilliant thunder and lightning bloomed in Chiya's hands, causing the surrounding dense fog to dissipate. Chiya raised one hand high, and struck down with a cold expression, directly on the black shadow. Boom. Zzz. Crackling. The unique sound of thunder and lightning was transmitted in the depths of the silent Shimmel wetland. A sharp and piercing sound also came out from the mouth of this ferocious monster. After being hit by you alone, the intense pain hit. The monster was so stiff that it couldn't even struggle, it could only scream in pain. In less than 5 seconds, the screams of the monsters completely disappeared. Instead, it was a completely charred corpse, and black smoke slowly rose repeatedly. In fact, even if Chiya does not enter the super speed state, Chiya can still solve this monster. However, Chiya did not do this. Because, without using super speed, Chiya would have to waste some time if he wanted to deal with the enemy in front of him. In the depths of the Wetmile wetland, this extremely dangerous place, once you encounter an enemy with sufficient capabilities, you must kill them in time, and you must not delay time. Because once you procrastinate for time and fight a protracted war with the monsters attacking you, in the eyes of the monsters, it means that your strength is not strong. Then, other hidden monsters don't mind a share of the pie. They will swarm you up, attack together, tear you into pieces, and then share and eat you. Of course, if the ability is insufficient, then run as far as you can, run as fast as you can, and get rid of the enemy as soon as possible, or you will die. Looking at the monster that had been completely charred, Chiya frowned slightly indifferently, and then, lightning bloomed in his hand, forming a sharp lightning spear. Chiya swung it violently, and directly inserted into the heart of the scorched monster. Puff. The warcraft was directly nailed to the ground. At the moment when the lightning spear pierced through the scorched body of the monster that should have been dead trembled suddenly and struggled. Within 2 seconds, the monster was completely silent. Looking at this scene, Chiya thought inwardly. The lair of fraudsters, don't lie to me. If I didn't have a system, I might have been deceived by you. After electrifying the monster into a scorched body, Chiya didn't hear the system's kill prompt. This let Chiya know that the monster in front of him is not dead, but is playing dead cunningly in his current situation. So Chiya did a make-up attack without hesitation, directly killing its life. And after making up the knife, the system's prompt sounded in Chiya's mind. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing the wet melee kappa and gaining 80 enhancement points. Hearing the system's prompt, Chiya also confirmed that the monster was indeed dead. Immediately, Chiya was astonished by what this magical beast brought to him. A monster has 80 strengthening points, which is completely incomparable with the previous gains in the wetlands outside the wetland. It has tripled in full. Although this gap is not a huge difference, it is also very large. It seems that I am right to venture here this time. Although there is a great risk, I can get more. Chiya muttered to himself, looking around at the immature little face also raised a bright smile. Hey, I'm not going to be polite to you guys who need to be strengthened. After finishing speaking, Chiya turned into an afterimage and disappeared in place. Squeak. Boom. There was a crisp chirping sound, followed by the roar of heavy objects falling to the ground. Chiya panted slightly, dispelled the thunder and lightning in her hands, looked at the scorched body on the ground, and her mind moved slightly. 2302. As expected of the depths of the Wetmile wetland, it is completely different from the outside, and the horror of the hidden crisis is a bit overwhelming for me. Calming her breath, Chiya thought with a little emotion. It has been more than half an hour since the beginning. During this half an hour, Chiya encountered dozens of monsters without stopping at all. Even before, 5 powerful monsters joined forces to attack. If Chiya hadn't strengthened his super speed Nen twice before coming in, Chiya would have been killed here. However, if it is so, at this time Chiya's body has no thought energy left. Although I really want to continue working and collect the strengthening points needed for the next strengthening as soon as possible, but my current situation is not very good, I must find a place to rest. Looking at the scorched body on the ground, Chiya silently thinking. At this time Chiya already had the idea of retreating. Although the problem of power consumption has been solved, and it has been transformed into lightning, and it can also actively restore lightning, this recovery also takes time. Chiya's current situation is a bit beyond her means, and the lightning in her body is consumed much slower than the recovery speed. What's more, there are many monsters around. This situation is definitely not good for Chiya. It must be withdrawn, otherwise it is very likely to stay here. Chiya decided to withdraw from the depths of the wetland, go to the periphery to rest, and then come in again. After making a decision, Chiya quickly ran towards the outskirts of the wetland. Chiya's worry was right. As Chiya started to hurry, many monsters who were staring at him secretly followed up, looking for an opportunity to attack Chiya. This point, Chiya also noticed. The monsters in the depths of the wetland have a very strong ability to hide. If they didn't act, it would be difficult for Chiya to feel it with his current ability. However, once they act, then sorry. He, Chiya Zoldyck, as the descendant of the killer family, is best at anti-tracking. In just a short moment, Chiya noticed the number of monsters lurking and following up. However, after sensing the number of monsters, Chiya's complexion sank slightly. 18. And the aura of 5 monsters is very similar to the aura of the one I killed just now. The strength is not much different. This is not good news. We must rush to the periphery as soon as possible. Hope these guys have concerns. Otherwise, a fierce battle is inevitable. With a slightly gloomy face, Chiya thought silently. Immediately afterwards, he accelerated his speed again, galloping at the fastest speed outside of the state of divine speed. And as Chiya accelerated, the monsters hiding around Chiya also accelerated accordingly. The chasing after each other between the two sides, and the behavior of the monsters revealed a message, that is, they are eyeing Chiya and will not let Chiya leave. Chiya also noticed this situation, and his face became even more gloomy. Squeak. The speed of lightning. The crisp tweet sounded again, and Chiya instantly entered a state of super speed, surrounded by lightning. Just because I'm retreating strategically doesn't mean I'm afraid of you guys. Since you guys have this attitude, don't blame me. Chiya cursed indifferently, and his body disappeared instantly. The next moment, a roar and scream unique to monsters came from the thick fog. Blue lightning rays bloomed, and blood shot out from the thick fog. In just a short moment, a monster following Chiya was found by Chiya and killed instantly. The scream of this monster made the surrounding monsters pause, as if they were shocked by Chiya's behavior. One by one they lurked again. The warcraft, which could still feel the breath, disappeared again at this moment. There was silence all around. Seeing this, Chiya frowned slightly and her eyes turned cold. Don't give up. Are you lurking in secret? Sure enough, the minds of monsters and humans are not on the same channel. Originally, Chiya used this thunderstrike to kill a monster. He wanted to use this method to deter these monsters, and told them that he was not easy to mess with. If they really needed to lurk and chase him, then he would be prepared to be killed. In order to make these monsters retreat. However, although these demonic beasts were shocked by Chiya's thunderstrike just now, and temporarily hid themselves, they never left at all, and did not intend to let Chiya go. Each of them had no intention of leaving at all, and was waiting for an opportunity to find Chiya's weak point, so as to launch a thunderous strike. It doesn't work. It's really nerve-wracking. The current situation gave Chiya a slight headache. If he was a human being, he would have already given up and left after being so shocked by him. After all, human beings cherish their lives. Seeing their companions being killed in one blow, human beings who cherish their lives will naturally have this kind of thought. Because, they couldn't guarantee that the thunderstrike would land on them in the next moment, causing them to fall on the spot. However, these monsters have no such idea at all. Forget it. Forget it, run away. Although he made a move, Chiya's intention was to frighten these monsters and make them retreat, and he had no intention of going to war with them. After all, Chiya's situation at this time is not very good. Once the war started, he could not gain the upper hand. However, just when Chiya was about to run away at a high speed, Chiya suddenly felt that the monsters surrounding him moved again. Moreover, instead of shooting at himself, he fled around. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared from Chiya's perception. This kind of situation made Chiya stunned for a while, with a look of bewilderment. What's going on? Ah! Just when Chiya wondered whether the group of monsters had lost their minds and went crazy, a scream came from a distance. Chiya heard the words and looked over. At this look, Chiya's pupils shrank immediately, and he swears. Grass. Immediately, Chiya ran away desperately. Behind Chiya, a girl with a green ponytail tied in cool clothes, a fishnet gauze upper body, hot pants lower body, exuding a strong youthful and girlish atmosphere is holding an upper body that can match her body. The giant egg in comparison quickly fled towards Chiya. Behind him, in the thick fog, a colossal figure was following closely behind him. His lantern-sized eyes gleamed through the thick fog, and a terrifying aura emanated from this figure. Someone. Although the fog was thick, the girl noticed Chiya's existence. After all, Chiya didn't hide her aura at all. This immediately made the girl excited. Like chicken blood, the speed increased suddenly, and he jumped out with a swish, pulling a considerable distance between himself and the behemoth behind him. Chiya, who has been paying attention to the situation behind her, was stunned when she saw this scene. Chiya had only seen this kind of situation in anime in her previous life, but she didn't expect such a thing to happen in reality. No, strictly speaking, the world I am in now is the anime world in my previous life. It is understandable that there will be such unscientific things. Children. The girl also came to Chiya's side after stimulating her own potential. After seeing Chiya, the girl also shouted out in disbelief in a daze. I'm a child, I'm really sorry. Chiya, who didn't have a good impression of the culprit at first, turned dark when he heard this sentence, and then said angrily. No, although you are a child, you are definitely not an ordinary child. The girl with the green ponytail also came to her senses when she heard the words, and reacted immediately. She is very clear about places like the depths of the wetland. Even if it is a professional hunter, the number of fallen is not small. Ordinary children, not to mention entering here, can't even enter the hurdle outside the wetland. But Chiya appeared here now, and judging from his current situation, although his clothes were a bit messy, he was not injured, and he was not an ordinary person at a glance. Although it looks like a child, its strength must be very strong. I've heard before that some powerful nen maintain the figure of a child because of certain special abilities. This one in front of me must be that kind of old monster. A ponytail girl with green hair appeared in her mind. An old woman in a gothic loli outfit with two golden ponytails and a loli shape thought silently. I always feel that you are thinking about something bad. Just when the girl was slandering, Chiya felt unwell for no reason. You looked at her and said. I'm only 8 years old, not that old monster. Damn, mind-reading skills. The girl who was slandering was shocked and yelled out. It's not mind-reading, but your expression is too obvious. Chiya stared, and also roared. Ah, really? The girl suddenly smiled awkwardly. There is no way, I was caught when I was slandering others. Rao is a girl who usually has a carefree personality, and it is also embarrassing to encounter this kind of situation. No, now is not the time to talk about this, little guy, run away. The next moment, the girl with ponytail suddenly remembered something, and immediately shouted again. As if in response to her yelling, there was a huge vibration when she stretched out her hand, and a huge fluffy hand suddenly landed on the ground not far behind the two of them, directly shattering the ground. Stop screaming, it's too noisy. Chiya covered her ears speechlessly, blocking the roar that could bring people back to life. Seeing this scene, the girl with ponytail stopped yelling and gritted her teeth, feeling embarrassed again. Seeing this, Chiya also breathed a sigh of relief. This guy, if he continued to shout, he was not killed by the behemoth behind him, so he would be sent to heaven by the voice. Immediately, Chiya looked at the ponytail girl beside her, and asked, Hey, are you ready? Ready? The girl was taken aback when she heard the words, not understanding what Chiya meant. The next moment, she saw Chiya stretch out a hand and landed on her waist. A strong itching sensation hit, and the girl blushed, ready to yell. She is holding a huge egg in both hands now, and there is no room for it, otherwise Chiya's hand will do this. she will definitely pull out the kitchen knife on the back of her waist and give it to Chiya immediately. The first time we met, I was not familiar with her at all. Chiya just touched the waist of this young and beautiful girl. I don't know if women's waists can't be touched casually. She doesn't care if Chiya is a child or not. However, before she cried out, she felt light all over. The next moment, she was directly hugged by Chiya to the princess. This made her stunned, as if her head had been shocked by an electric shock. It was a mess. I was hugged by a little kid to a princess? Squeak. A series of clear chirps came, and the ponytail girl suddenly felt that she was surrounded by a powerful thought energy, and the power of thunder and lightning surrounded her and Chiya. This is. The girl exclaimed in surprise. Hold on tight, I'm going to run away. Chiya said with a stern look, looking down at a girl. Speed. Flash. After muttering a sentence in a low voice, Chiya entered the state of super speed when the ponytail girl was puzzled. In an instant, the two turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed out for more than 200 meters, pulling the huge monster behind them far away. The ponytail girl couldn't react at all, but saw that the surrounding vision passed so fast that she couldn't see clearly at all. So fast. Phew, it's out. Relying on the lightning speed, Chiya and the ponytail girl spent a lot of effort, and finally got rid of the huge monster behind them, and came to the outskirts of Shamail wetland. When they arrived here, Chiya did the same. Can't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Hi. The girl with ponytail who was being hugged by Princess Chiya had a dark face at this moment, and a puff of black smoke came out of her mouth. At this time, the girl's tied ponytail had fallen apart, replaced by a huge hedgehog head with blue arcs flickering from time to time. Chiya looked down, and immediately let go of his hands. Boom. It hurts. With a muffled sound, the girl with ponytail fell to the ground and cried out. Chiya let go so abruptly, the bewildered girl didn't react at all, her ass suffered directly and almost blossomed. Holding the giant egg in one hand, and rubbing her own butt with the other, the ponytail girl looked at Chiya with an unfriendly expression regardless of her image at the moment. I said, won't you remind me before you let go? Regarding this, Chiya didn't pay attention to it, but looked at her carefully, thinking about something. It seems that my super speed can't take people away. It's powerful and hard to control. This guy is Nen, and his strength is not bad. Otherwise, he would have been electrocuted long ago. Looking at the ponytail girl, Chiya silently said thought. Chiya's previous super speed, as long as it is well controlled, can lead people. Although it will make people feel paralyzed, it will not be harmful. However, even if Chiya tried his best to control the enhanced speed, its powerful destructive power would still cause damage to people. This guy in front of him was Li Zi. Seeing this, the ponytail girl was so angry that her teeth itched. This guy made my old lady look like this, even through her, and now ignores my old lady's words. It's really irritating. However, for the sake of saving my mother this time, forget it. Seeing Chiya ignoring his own words and looking at himself, Menchi's mind was on fire and wanted to vent, but thinking of Chiya this time after saving himself, Menchi decided not to care about Chiya. Soon she put this matter behind her, and then looked at the giant egg she was holding with sparkling eyes. Samo K's eggs, the world's top delicacies, I finally got it, hee hee. The ponytail girl murmured to herself, and the words almost blew out. Sure enough, he is a foodie. He would risk his life just to eat, Chiya said speechlessly. The guy in front of her, Chiya guessed her identity the first time she saw her. Although this guy's hairstyle is a single ponytail, her clothes and grooming are too obvious. The transparent gauze made it easy to see the swimsuit-style bra on her body, a pair of shorts on her lower body, 2 kitchen knives pinned to the back of her waist, and green hair. All these characteristics let Chiya recognize her identity at a glance. The chief examiner of the hunter experiment in the original book, the one-star gourmet hunter Menchi. Although this guy attracted a powerful monster, it also gave Chiya an opportunity to escape, so Chiya took him with him and left there together. Compared with a dozen or so powerful monsters, Chiya was more inclined to face one powerful monster. It's just a monster. If you can't beat it, you can run, but if you are targeted by more than a dozen powerful monsters, it will be very difficult to run. Even if Chiya uses super speed to escape from the encirclement of monsters, it is estimated that there will be some twists and turns. Killing dozens of monsters in a row, Chiya's Nen consumed a lot. If he just escaped from one monster, it would be more than enough, but if it was surrounded by more than a dozen monsters, it would be a little dangerous. This time there was some miscalculation. Nen consumed too much and almost couldn't get out. I can't make this kind of mistake again in the future. Biting her nails, Chiya silently summed up her adventure this time. What do you know? I'm saving it. Menchi heard Chiya's words, rolled his eyes, and then continued to look at the giant egg in his hand with glowing eyes, and continued. Samoke is a monster. Although each fetus can give birth to many offspring, they will only raise one offspring, and after hatching, brothers and sisters will kill each other until the last one can survive. So, instead of making them cannibalize their own kind, it's better to make them a delicacy on my table before they are born with consciousness. In that case, this egg has to thank you. Chiya, who was reflecting on the shortcomings of his actions this time, heard Menchi's shameless words, the corners of his mouth twitched, and he said in a mocking tone. That's right. But Menchi didn't care about the sarcasm in Chiya's words at all, and responded shamelessly. Chiya. It's thanks to you that I was able to escape this time. Come on, come with me, I'll treat you to eat Samoke's eggs. Standing up from the ground, Menchi turned around and said with a smile to Chiya. After finishing speaking, he took a step forward and walked in a certain direction. Hearing this, Chiya touched her belly slightly. Indeed, after exercising for so long, I feel a little hungry. Also, gourmet food made by Food Hunter is not to be missed. Accompanied by this kind of thought, Chiya also stepped forward and followed. The periphery of wetland, where the Hunter Association is resident. At this time, both Chiya and Menchi are here. As expected of Samoke's eggs, the peerless delicacy in the records, I have wanted to taste it for a long time, and today I finally got what I wanted. Holding a piece of steaming egg in his hand, Menchi's mouth puffed up, while chewing, speaking indistinctly, with a satisfied smile on his face. This kind of egg is indeed delicious, but it is worthy of being a gourmet hunter who can bring out its deliciousness perfectly. Chiya was holding the other half of the egg at this time, and praised without hesitation while eating. Samoke's eggs are indeed very delicious, but Chiya knows that the reason why they are so delicious is because of Menchi's cooking ability. This guy's cooking ability is very strong. Samoke's eggs are cooked to perfection. As soon as Chiya bit it down, he felt that every cell in his body was jumping for joy. It was a very special taste and feeling, which made Chiya fall into a wonderful hallucination for a moment. If it weren't for Chiya's innate spiritual power, it would really be possible to be drawn into that wonderful illusion. This guy, Menchi, if he was in a certain gourmet show that he had seen in his previous life, he would definitely be the king of medicine. Thank you for the compliment, but how do you know I'm a gourmet hunter? Menchi said with some pride when he heard that. But then she asked a strange question. She has never revealed her identity as a gourmet hunter. Guess. Chiya was not surprised when he heard the words, and said casually. Seeing this, Menchi knew that Chiya didn't want to talk about it, and besides, it wasn't a big deal, so he didn't care. Then, she suddenly thought of something, looked at Chiya, stared at Chiya with a smile, and didn't speak. Why don't you eat your eggs and stare at me? Chiya looked over with a little discomfort after being stared at for more than 10 seconds, and asked. Little guy, Samoke's eggs are delicious, Menchi said with a smile instead of answering. It's delicious. Hearing this, Chiya responded strangely, and looked at Menchi with strange eyes. It's not delicious. Why should I praise it? Then, do you want to eat something more delicious? Menchi's face brightened when he heard this, and then he said with a seductive attitude. Are you interested in my speed? Chiya didn't answer immediately after hearing this, but was silent for a moment, then said. Bingo. That's right, little guy, let's cooperate. There are a lot of delicious ingredients deep in the wetland. Let's go in together and empty out all the ingredients. Menchi snapped his fingers, and then said excitedly. Okay. As long as you can bear my nen. Chiya immediately agreed after hearing this. Menchi froze when he heard this, touched his hair, felt the numbness coming from the hair, and couldn't help but shrink back. This is indeed a problem. The power of this little guy's nen is really terrifying. I have tried my best to defend myself just now, but I didn't expect to be made like that. However, thinking that if he had the speed of Chiya, then he would be able to run amok in the wetland this time and get all kinds of dream food he wanted, Menchi's mind became firm. No problem, I can bear it. Menchi gritted his teeth and replied. Hearing this, Chiya looked slightly surprised, glanced at her, and then shook her head speechlessly. Sure enough, he is a foodie, and he can bear anything for food. However, this is also good for me, not a loss-making business. As for why Chiya agreed so simply, it was naturally because this matter was beneficial to Chiya. Then, let me introduce myself. I am Menchi, a professional hunter, and a gourmet hunter. Menchi was a little surprised that Chiya agreed so easily, but she didn't bother too much, and introduced herself directly. Chiya Zoldyck is a killer. Chiya also introduced himself. The Zoldyk's family. Menchi exclaimed when he heard this, and shouted out in disbelief. Ah. What, are you afraid? Chiya nodded, and then said teasingly. Most people hear about the Zoldyck family with horror and fear. How is it possible? Menchi pouted and said. However, I didn't expect that I would meet the Zoldyck family, and it is a potential stock. The Zoldyck family really deserves to be the #1 killer family. On the contrary, Menchi felt emotional. Well, I'm special. Chiya said with a smile. Indeed, even the Zoldyck family is the first person in the Zoldyck family to be able to possess such strength at his age. None of the other clansmen of the past dynasties can possess such strength at this age. Well, yes, well, that's all for the self-introduction. Let's rest here today. There are many rooms here. You can find one yourself, and we will start tomorrow. Menchi stretched and yawned. Immediately, she put her hands on her hips, walked out of the kitchen with enchanting steps, and twisted her waist. Seeing this, Chiya shook her head and left within a few minutes. As for why Chiya agreed to Menchi's request and formed a team with her to find the delicious food in Menchi's mouth. Ding. Congratulations to the host for absorbing special ingredients and gaining 120 strengthening points. That's why Chiya agreed to Menchi. After eating half of the eggs, a system prompt sounded in Chiya's mind, reminding Chiya that she had obtained 120 strengthening points. Half of it allowed Chiya to gain so many enhancement points, and a whole one was 240. There are so many strengthening points in one egg, this kind of gain is worth Chiya's desperate risk to start with the powerful monster before. If it is someone else, this behavior may be a very dangerous behavior, a death behavior, just like Menchi, who almost died in the hands of the giant Samoke. But for Chiya, who possesses super speed skills, this kind of behavior is not very dangerous. As long as she is not besieged by several powerful monsters like Samoke, Chiya is sure to succeed in their hands and escape. Day of birth. Late at night, in the room selected by Chiya, Chiya is holding a carapace-shaped mobile phone and operating on the mobile phone. Chiya is browsing the dark net of this world at this time. The dark web is the only website comparable to the Hunter website. The Hunter website is considered innocent and sells information openly. As for the dark web, it is a place visited by gangsters and where many killers gather. The Zoldyck family also plays a very important role in the dark web. The assassination mission of the Zoldyck family was also received from the dark web. Chiya has been on this website since 2 years ago. There are no special tasks. After browsing for more than half an hour, they were all ordinary tasks. Chiya was also a little bored, so he was about to exit the dark web. However, at this moment, Chiya suddenly noticed a mission, not a mission, but an intelligence. The place where the Karuta people live in seclusion. Speaking of which, during this period of time, it seems that the Karuta people have not been exterminated by Phantom Troop, and the number of red eyes on the market is very rare. With the emergence of this information, it seems that the Karuta people are not far from being wiped out. Krollo is very interested in the 7 beauties in the world. Would you like to join in the fun and meet these spiders for a while? Chiya thought silently. Although Chiya is not interested in Red Eye, she is still very interested in Phantom Troop. However, think about it or forget it. When Phantom Troop wiped out the Karuta tribe, almost the entire brigade was dispatched together. If you are alone, too reluctant. Although his current strength is considered a master among the Nen, if he is against the entire Phantom Troop, a few lives are not enough. Phantom Troop is an organization that even Silva finds it difficult. After killing Phantom Troop's number 8 spider, it actually said that accepting the task of assassinating Phantom Troop is not a worthwhile deal. Enough to show the strength of the members of Phantom Troop. After dispelling this idea, Chiya silently exited the website and closed the phone. Looking at the dark forest outside the window, Chiya was silent for a moment, and assumed a posture of cultivation. Then, a mind energy different from that of Conjurer emerged on Chiya's body surface. The next day, early in the morning, at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, Menchi broke into Chiya's room. The moment Menchi broke in, Chiya opened his eyes instantly, sat up from the bed, and a ray of cold gaze flashed across. I said, don't you think it's a very unladylike behavior to break into other people's rooms early in the morning? After seeing Menchi, Chiya's cold gaze disappeared instantly, replaced by its a lazy yawn. My old lady didn't say that she is a lady. Menchi said carelessly. After finishing speaking, Menchi walked over quickly, grabbed Chiya's quilt, and wanted to lift Chiya's quilt. While pulling, he said, "Okay, get up quickly, the time is just right now, let's go quickly." Yes, I see. By the way, why did you set off so early? Chiya asked curiously while running around the wetland. Of course it's because this time is the best time to make a move. Menchi heard the words, looked over, smiled confidently, and said, "Today, let's not look for anything else, and continue to attack Sakmo. I have studied the living habits of Sakmo for a long time. Every morning, that is, between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the morning, Sakmo will come out of the lair and go to the nearby area to defecate. It takes half an hour to defecate. This period of time is our opportunity." Menchi's eyes sparkled, and he said excitedly, "Wait, boy, what kind of eyes do you have?" When she was excited, Menchi suddenly noticed Chiya's shocked eyes. Although she didn't know why Chiya had such eyes, she felt it instinctively. At this moment, what Chiya was thinking in his heart was definitely not a good thing. "You actually went to watch Sakmo excrete, and you even know the time so clearly. Abnormal." Chiya looked at Menchi and said in shock. Menchi. "Ah. I'm not a pervert, then I'm looking for opportunities. Know yourself and your enemy, and win every battle." "Damn it, you brat. Dare you look at me with normal eyes?" In the depths of Shimale wetland, Chiya and Menchi were rushing on the road at a very fast speed. Menchi gritted his teeth and stared at Chiya said, "Don't talk to me. Perverts are contagious." Chiya immediately glanced at Menchi with disgust when he heard that, and said, "Ah. Damn it, brat, I'll kill you." As soon as the words came out, Menchi went crazy, and regardless of the environment they were in, he rushed towards Chiya with his hands facing each other. Chiya's face was scratched. "Oh, are you crazy? You dare to mess around here?" Chiya dodged Menchi's pounce, and then looked at her like a fool and said. Chiya remembered that this guy seemed to be the nen of the manipulator, so nervous, he dared to make such a fool in the depths of the Shimale wetland. "Ah. You stinking brat, you had that kind of look just now, and now you have this kind of look, it's really irritating." Chiya reminded Menchi of the environment he was in now, and he didn't continue to mess around. But she was still very angry and mad. Chiya's eyes made her feel that she was discriminated against. Yes, I won't look at you with colored eyes anymore, don't worry." Chiya curled her lips and said in a very awkward tone. This tone made Menchi furious again, wanting to beat Chiya violently. But thinking of where the two of them are now, Menchi suppressed this anger abruptly. "Stinky boy, just wait for me and see how I will deal with you later," Menchi said bitterly. She knows the special features of the lair of monsters like Samoke, and those who don't know will definitely encounter those disgusting troubles when they enter. Originally, she wanted to tell Chiya about these precautions, but she didn't want to tell them now. "Little boy, wait until you get embarrassed later, I won't tell you." Thinking of this, Menchi's face showed malicious intent. "I don't know what's going on, it was fine last night, but since this morning, the relationship between the two of them has been weird, as if they were happy enemies." Menchi was very angry by Chiya. And this expression of Menchi just caught the attention of Chiya, who wanted to ask how far Menchi was, which suddenly made Chiya secretly more careful. This guy is secretly holding back some bad ideas, so pay attention later. Chiya didn't perceive any malice from Menchi, but looking at Menchi's expression, it was obvious that he wanted to cheat himself, so Chiya secretly became vigilant. "Menchi, how far is it?" Chiya asked, secretly vigilant. "There is still about half an hour, and Samoke's lair is in a very deep place." Menchi heard this, restrained the smug smile on his face, and said with a smile on his face. It was as if the deflated just now had never happened at all. In response, the corners of Chiya's mouth twitched slightly. Women are born actors. The face change is so fast, and the connection is perfect, without any flaws. Remember to restrain your breath completely. Sakmo is very sensitive to breath. Yesterday I was too excited to get Samoke's egg and leaked my breath, so I was hunted down. Speaking of this, Menchi's with a straight face, he warned Chiya. "Do you see that I have breath in my body now?" Chiya fixed her eyes tightly on hearing this, and then asked back. "Hey." Menchi's face froze when he heard this, and he didn't know what to say for a moment. Chiya's current state is completely in an absolute state. If she hadn't looked at Chiya with her own eyes, she wouldn't have believed that Chiya was by her side. With an embarrassed smile, Menchi turned around, stopped talking, and continued to lead the way. This kid, he is really impeccable in his work, he doesn't give me a chance to perform like a gourmet hunter at all. Soon, more than 20 minutes passed. The two also rushed to the lair of Sako mentioned by Menchi, on a hillside more than 300 meters away from Sako's lair. Sako's lair is a huge cave, as big as the door of the Zoldyck family's trial. However, this is also normal. Although I didn't see the true face of the Samoke monster yesterday, we can know from its size in the dense fog that Samoke is a very large monster. To accommodate such a huge body, the hole must be large, otherwise it would be impossible to get in. I said, "Kid, don't squeeze me." By the way, Chiya and Menchi were huddling together on a small tree at this time, using the dense leaves to cover their figures. However, the hidden space on the branches of this tree is a bit narrow. One person is fine, but two people are not enough. This guy Menchi is observing Sako's lair with a telescope at this time, while muttering dissatisfiedly. "Hey, this is where I'm staying. You insisted on coming here. It's great that I can let you stay here. You still think I'm crowded?" Chiya twitched the corner of his mouth when he heard this, and then said bluntly. "Besides, how much space my child's body can occupy is basically occupied by you. I can't help it. We have to stay together. I don't want to be the same as yesterday. Once we are discovered, let's get out of here immediately." Menchi was also very helpless, she didn't want to be chased like yesterday. She still has lingering fears about what happened yesterday. If it weren't for Chiya yesterday, Menchi didn't know if he had a chance to survive. Once discovered, Menchi decided to ask Chiya to take him away as quickly as possible without any risk. "Okay, here's for you, I'll hide in another place." Chiya was slightly speechless, then said, and after speaking, he was going to give this place to Menchi and find another place to hide. "No, you are hiding here too. The time is coming, and Samoke is about to come out. Sako's eyesight is very good, and it is not affected by the dense fog. Even at such a long distance, you will immediately appear it was discovered." Before Chiya could take any action, Menchi directly suppressed Chiya, preventing Chiya from going out to startle the enemy. I got it. I won't go out, don't press me down." In other words, the reason why it's so crowded here is because you two lumps are messing around. The cheeks were deformed by the soft stuff, Chiya said, very dissatisfied. "Huh? What are you talking about? Don't you men all like these two things? You still despise them?" Menchi was dissatisfied when he heard that. "Do you think I'm a man now?" Chiya snapped back. "Menchi. You're right, I'm speechless. Ah, it appeared, Samoke appeared. Appear as soon as you appear, you should calm me down, don't squeeze, and you almost gave away your breath." Facing Menchi's excitement, Chiya hastily comforted him. This guy was too excited, just now he got excited and immediately withdrew the absolute. If it weren't for the skin contact between the two now, and Chiya hastily used Ju to cover up her breath, the two of them would have been exposed long ago. "Ah, I'm sorry, but you guys have cultivated too much Ju, and you can forcibly pull me into Ju." Chiya reminded Menchi to come to his senses. Yes, he quickly apologized. The Nyen Chi from the place where the two of them were in contact let Menchi know that he was excited just now. If Chiya's Nyen Chi hadn't forced him to enter the state of extreme, the two of them would have been discovered by Samoke just now. Immediately she was frightened by Chiya's absolute. This guy puts himself in an extreme state. This kind of ability can be achieved by naughty people as long as they practice hard for a period of time. After all, no one who can learn Nen is an idiot. However, it is shocking to want to cover up the breath of the people around you. This kind of delicate ability is difficult to achieve without more than 10 or 20 years of hard training. It's normal, as long as you're not stupid, anyone can do it. Chiya heard this, and said very strangely, feeling that Menchi was making a fuss. Absolutely, this kind of ability, as long as you practice hard, anyone can do it, as long as you can suppress the opponent's fluctuations. Moreover, as a killer, he is naturally very good at concealment. As soon as these words came out, Menchi was stunned for a moment, feeling that dozens of arrows had been shot all over his body, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. It's so simple, anyone can do it. This guy is so infuriating, the map cannon is so big. I'm really sorry that I can't do it easily, I'm dragging down human beings. But, forget it, my lady has a lot, so I will forgive you this time magnanimously. The corner of his mouth twitched for a while. Menchi decided to ignore Chiya's angry words. There's only one. Is the other one left in the cave? It was your reckless behavior yesterday, so Samoke is prepared. Chiya observed the situation outside for a while, watching a huge monster shrouded in thick fog leave the cave, but did not see the second. It's a little strange to say. Huh. What are you talking about? Samo-K is a parthenogenetic beast. It has always lived alone, and each generation will only leave one offspring. However, each generation of Sam-K is very powerful. Well, their eggs are also very powerful. Delicious. Hearing Chiya's doubts, Menchi suddenly looked like Chiya was making a fuss, and then gave Chiya some science. When it came to the end, Menchi thought of the Samo-K egg he ate last night, and immediately thought about it, and licked his lips slightly with his tongue. Ha, is that so? So, there is only one Samo-K in this place. Chiya nodded in understanding after hearing this, and then asked back. That's right. Samo-K is a monster in the fog, and it is a world-class endangered monster designated by the Hunter Association. Menchi nodded slightly, and then replied. Endangered monster. Then is it not good for us to do this? If it becomes extinct in our hands, then. Hearing that this monster is actually an endangered monster, Chiya hesitated for a while. You said this, don't worry, although it is an endangered beast, countries in the world have not restricted the hunting of this Sakmo beast, so you don't have to worry about the consequences at all. It's better to say that if you can kill the Sakmo beast, you will get a huge bounty, because this guy is full of treasures, many of which are the world's top materials, and can make all kinds of powerful weapons. It's the fate of many Warcraft hunters. Many Warcraft hunters often come here to find trouble with Sakmo. However, almost no one can get the treasures from Sakmo. Almost all the monster hunters who used the materials on Sakmo are dead. However, I heard that the president came to trouble the Sakmo monster. It seems that he beat the Sakmo monster half to death. I don't know if it's true or not. Menchi talked endlessly while observing. That old urchin. Hearing this, Chiya raised his brows immediately, and an image of an old urchin appeared in his mind. Did that old guy come here to trouble the monsters here? Okay. Samo-K has left, we can start. At this moment, Menchi also stopped talking and reminded. Then she left Chiya's body in an extremely indecent posture, making Chiya bear the offensive of a wave of facial cleanser. You guy did it on purpose, you can't go out properly. As soon as he came out, Chiya started to pat the leaves on his body, and said with gritted teeth. This guy squeezed his face out of shape just now. Stinky boy. I'm giving you benefits from the girl, you just accept it without being grateful, but you still have this expression, what do you mean? Menchi was also patting the leaves at this time, and when he heard Chiya's words, he's suddenly furious. Who? This brat, no matter how many people want to take advantage of this girl, there is no chance, this guy actually despises her, it's really annoying. Soon, within a minute, the two of them took off all the leaves on their bodies. Okay, come with me. Menchi waved to Chiya, and then jumped out without a sound. Seeing this, Chiya also used a dark step and followed silently. Here we are. The speed of the two was very fast, the distance was several hundred meters, and they arrived in more than a minute. I'm going to release the wind, you go in and steal Samo-K's eggs. Menchi said to Chiya, and the corners of his mouth curled into an undetectable arc during the words. If you're not careful, you won't notice it at all. However, Chiya, who had been on guard for a long time, naturally noticed this. However, he didn't say much, but began to carefully observe the situation in Samo-K's lair. This observation really made Chiya observe some clues. The corner of Chiya's mouth twitched suddenly. Are you so excited? Are you sure you are qualified for this job? Chiya walked over calmly and asked Menchi. Don't worry, although this lady is easily agitated, there won't be a third time. You are fast, steal Sakmo's egg from inside, and then let's leave here as quickly as possible. Menchi heard Yan, with his back to Chiya, waved his hands casually and said. That's right, as a gourmet hunter, you are the best at this kind of thing. Chiya walked to Menchi's side, said lightly, and then he walked towards the entrance of the cave. Menchi, who was behind Chiya, saw this, and the corner of his mouth curled up. Hey, I got tricked, kid. Menchi watched Chiya walking towards the entrance of the cave step by step, his heart was full of excitement. Brat. Let you owe me a lesson, this time I will teach you a lesson. Menchi can't wait to see Chiya in trouble. However, at this moment, Chiya stopped walking and squatted down. Menchi suddenly felt a lump in his heart. This kid must have discovered something. However, at this moment, Chiya turned his head to look at Menchi, and said solemnly. Menchi, come here, there is a problem around here, there are enemies with very strong concealment ability near us, don't separate. While speaking, Chiya's eyeballs kept looking around, vigilant about her surroundings, showing a cautious expression. Hearing this, Menchi was taken aback for a moment, then frowned slightly, followed Chiya's words and walked over. Although he wanted to punish Chiya, but seeing Chiya's expression, Menchi was not self-willed. However, when Menchi walked carefully to Chiya's side and looked around, Chiya suddenly stretched out his hand and pushed her. Menchi was startled for a moment, with a look of astonishment on his face, and then he rushed out towards the cave quickly. Then, there was a scream. "You stinky brat." It's called self-inflicted suffering. Standing in front of Samoke's lair, Chiya crossed her arms with a proud expression on her face. At this time, at the mouth of Samoke's cave, Menchi was writhing with an uncomfortable expression. There is a layer of transparent mucus on her body. This layer of mucus is exactly what is at the entrance of the cave. It is difficult to see with the naked eye. Chiya can only observe it through very careful observation. Menchi just wants to use this layer of mucus to trap Chiya, revenge for Chiya's annoying behavior just now. Just looking at this layer of mucus is enough to make Chiya feel sick. "You brat." Menchi gritted his teeth and looked at Chiya and read. He understood what it means to be an enemy who is hidden nearby. This is obviously an excuse to deceive her, a rhetoric used to lure her into a hook. This brat definitely discovered the layer of transparent slime at the entrance of Samoke's lair, and knew that he was going to punish him, so he used his plan to cheat himself. However, although he hates Chiya, Menchi has no intention of attacking Chiya. Because no matter how you look at this situation, it is my own fault. After all, the two are now in a cooperative relationship, but I have concealed this information. Being betrayed is also his own fault. Smelly brat, get me out quickly, or Samoke will come back. Menchi yelled at Chiya. No way, the mucus at the mouth of Samoke's cave is very strong for the protection of Samoke's nest when he goes out. If you are careful and use thought energy isolation before entering, then nothing will happen. But once it is stuck, it is not easy to break free. With her own strength, it would take at least 5 minutes to break free completely. In normal times, 5 minutes is nothing. However, the current situation is precisely the race against time. She was slapped by Chiya just now, which made her shout out involuntarily in anger. With such a loud sound, the Samoke who left here just now must have heard it. Definitely heading back now. Gotta get out of here before Samoke comes back, or it's over. I just stole an egg from Samoke yesterday, and I came to steal it again today. It is conceivable how furious Samoke was when he saw himself. Even with Chiya, a guy with amazing speed, Menchi still feels very bad and has no idea. Do you still dare to trick me? Facing Menchi's request for help, Chiya did not act immediately, but squatted down halfway, looking at her with a smile and said. I know, this time it was my fault. There will never be a next time. Next time I do it, I will share all the information I know with you. Help quickly, or we won't be able to leave later. Hearing this, Menchi's face became more anxious, his tone gradually softened, and he begged Chiya. It's you who can't leave. I can leave anytime I want. Chiya raised her eyebrows and said lightly. Even so, Chiya made a move. Use your strongest entanglement. As soon as he stretched out his hand, the blue lightning flickered, Chiya said to Menchi, and then the lightning in his hand turned into a series of blue thunder branches that spread and enveloped him. Seeing this, Menchi also instantly opened up his Nyan-Chi defense to the maximum and defended his whole body. In the next moment, the entire cave was brightly lit, and chirping like 1,000 birds resounded throughout the forest. There was blue lightning covering Menchi's body. Even though he had used his strongest thoughts to defend, Menchi still trembled when the lightning fell on him. A tingling sour feeling instantly covered the whole body, making Menchi want to cry out comfortably. However, Menchi's willpower is also very strong, and he forcibly suppressed the idea of wanting to call out. In less than 10 seconds, the faint blue lightning disappeared, and Samoke's lair returned to its original appearance again, and the thick fog shrouded in again. And the layer of transparent mucus on Menchi's body has completely disappeared at this time. Although the adhesiveness is very strong, in the final analysis, the composition of this mucus is mostly water. Chiya's lightning just counteracts this. The lightning released by Chiya directly decomposed the mucus, turned it into mist, and merged into the surrounding dense fog. As for Menchi, after the lightning disappeared, his legs softened slightly, and he sat on the ground in an M shape. Afterwards, Menchi raised his head, his face was flushed, and he gave Chiya a hard look, as if he wanted to bite off Chiya's meat for dinner. You don't have to thank me. Facing Menchi's gnashing of teeth, Chiya grinned slightly, with big white teeth open, and smiled. Heck. Hearing this, Menchi was almost not pissed off. Who is to blame for my appearance? I still want to thank you. Why don't you go to heaven? This brat looks so cute, but he likes to irritate people so much. Slightly calming down the emotional fluctuations in his heart, Menchi forced himself to calm down, ignored Chiya's irritating words, turned around and walked quickly towards the Sako cave. Seeing this, Chiya also followed. You must get the egg from Sako as soon as possible. Menchi's yelling just now must have exposed them. Get out of here before Sako comes back. Samo's lair is a very ordinary cave. The only advantage is that it is spacious, and the first thing that catches Chiya's eyes is the 3 giant eggs that are particularly conspicuous in the haystack. This is exactly the egg of Sako that Chiya ate yesterday. One for each person, take one and go straight away. Menchi walked over quickly, without procrastinating, picked up one of them directly, opened his mouth and said, and ran quickly towards the entrance of the cave after speaking. Seeing this, Chiya didn't say anything, and quickly walked over, looking at the remaining 2 giant eggs that were 2/3 of her height. Squinting his eyes slightly, an invisible force came out, and the next moment, the 2 giant eggs disappeared out of thin air. It was taken into the system space by Chiya. After finishing all these, Chiya quickly walked back. However, within 2 steps, there was a huge vibration on the ground, and the entire cave began to shake. It's a lie, I'm back so soon. Menchi stabilized his body, then looked out of the cave in disbelief and said. No. According to Samo's speed, it is impossible for Sako to come back here so soon. Chiya, hurry up, use your ability, let's get out of here. Immediately, Menchi turned around anxiously, and shouted at Chiya. Huh. However, what he saw when he turned around made Menchi stunned. Where's the egg? Menchi had such a question in his mind. Boom. Just at this moment, a terrifying impact came from outside, and it swept across in an instant. Menchi, who was wondering, was immediately blasted, a mouthful of blood spurted out, and the whole person turned into a black shadow and shot out. Call out. Boom. A strange sound rang in Chiya's ear, and a black afterimage shot past Chiya's side. Immediately afterwards, there was a loud noise from behind Chiya. The rock wall of the cave behind Chiya collapsed directly, and the smoke filled the air in an instant. In front of Chiya, Menchi's figure has completely disappeared. In its place was a huge figure, the Warcraft shaman Moke. Moke walked in slowly, and in an instant, the whole cave was plunged into darkness. After the Moke entered, the huge hole was completely blocked, and the light of the outside world was completely isolated at this moment. In the entire cave, the only thing that radiates light is the eyes that are bigger than the lantern. So fast. Looking at the giant eyes in front of him, Chiya thought to himself. Slap. A soft sound echoed in the cave. It was followed by Menchi's feeble cough. Hearing the sound, Chiya's body instantly burst into brilliant lightning, and entered the state of super speed. The blue lightning completely illuminated the dark cave. With a flash, Chiya came to Menchi's side. At this time, Menchi propped his hands on a pile of rubble, coughing continuously, and blood spurted out with the coughing. Beside him, Sako's egg was standing quietly on the ground. It's all right. Chiya stretched out his hand to support Menchi, caring. The 5 internal organs are coughing, the 6 internal organs are cracked, and the body functions are severely damaged. I can no longer support me to use Nen to fight. Chiya, hurry up. Use your ability quickly. Let's get out of here. The strength of this Sako is too terrifying. You are no match for it. Menchi, who was supported by Chiya, looked slightly dispirited, and his tone was weak, talking intermittently. Let Chiya quickly use Nen to escape from here. After that, Menchi spurted out another mouthful of blood, and sprayed Chiya directly. The bright color stained most of Chiya's light purple clothes. And coughing up a mouthful of blood, Menchi also lost consciousness directly, leaning against Chiya's body completely. Seeing this, Chiya used a little force to hold Menchi to her chest in the way of a princess hug. In the darkness, looking at the giant in front of him, feeling the terrifying aura emanating from it, Chiya's immature face frowned. Chiya didn't expect that Sako came back here so soon. Yesterday's chasing battle with Moke made Chiya think that Moke's speed was just like that. Chiya has already been calculated. Even if he cheated Menchi and made some noise, Samo-ke noticed it. At the speed of Samo-ke, before he rushed back, both himself and Menchi could escape unscathed. But Chiya didn't expect Samo-ke to come back so quickly. Moreover, the shot was swift and devastating, without any delay at all. While Menchi was in a daze, he hit with one blow, seriously injuring Menchi, a man who had achieved little success. You made a mistake, you have to learn from this lesson well. This mistake cannot be repeated. Chiya feels that his experience is too little, and he has made 2 mistakes in a row when he came to the wetland. You have to reflect on yourself after you go back. But, immediately, Chiya's eyes became hot. The overlord in the depths of the wetland is so powerful that it really makes people tremble. Do you really want to fight this guy? In the darkness, Chiya stared at the behemoth in front of him, a little excited. Chiya has already fully understood the strength of Samo-ke from that blow just now. Although the Samo-ke in front of him is powerful and dangerous, it is not much stronger than himself. If you really fight, you may not be afraid of it. The victory or defeat should be the number of 55. The reason why Chiya ran away as soon as he saw Samo-ke yesterday was because Chiya was in a very bad state yesterday. Save one. Fighting against Samo-ke in that state, isn't that courting death? However, Chiya is at the peak of his state now. If he fights against Samo-ke, he may not be defeated, and he may even win. Still, forget it. Even if I get away with killing this big guy, my state will drop to the bottom. In this dangerous place, it is absolutely not advisable. Moreover, this guy Menchi's condition is not good, he must be treated as soon as possible. Although it is ridiculous, Menchi was seriously injured by Samo-ke because of his own reasons. If he hadn't pitted Menchi himself, made Menchi yell angrily, and led Samo-ke back, Menchi would not have been seriously injured. Moreover, Menchi was stunned because he put the other 2 eggs of Samo-ke into the system space. Faced with the consequences of his willfulness, Chiya will naturally not shirk his responsibility, and it is impossible to let Menchi die of such a serious injury. So, retreat for now. Without any hesitation, Chiya directly made a decision. Immediately, Chiya looked at the egg of Samo-ke beside him, and the next second, this egg also disappeared into the cave. A faint thought energy enveloped Chiya and Menchi, and their figures disappeared into the cave. Without the illumination of Chiya's thunder and lightning, the entire cave returned to darkness again. Roar. From just now, the reason why Samo-ke didn't attack Chiya and Menchi was because he was afraid of throwing a mouse. Because its only egg is by Chiya's side, it is afraid that the last egg will be destroyed, so it endures without doing anything, and at the same time, it is afraid that Chiya will use this egg as a threat. But now, his last heir is gone, and it was escaped by these 2 hateful humans. Under the powerful mind energy, the terrifying roar turned into a super powerful sound wave, which spread out with the momentum of destroying everything. Boom. With a loud bang, Samo-ke's lair was directly reduced to ruins, and a huge explosion resounded throughout the depths of the wetland. In the depths of the wetland, other Warcraft overlords lurking in the dark turned their eyes to Samo-ke's lair at this moment. What is that old guy going crazy? On the outskirts of wetland, in the residence of the Hunter Association. In the room where Chiya stayed last night, a white light appeared out of thin air, and then the figures of Chiya and Menchi emerged in the white light. Trait as ability, Space and Nen who just started Chiya. This ability, Chiya can already use it after awakening. It's just that many abilities have not been developed according to the charter. Chiya took the time to develop it last night. It is easy to develop an ability while already awakened. Similar to Flying Thor's teleportation ability in Naruto. Space transfer. At the place where Chiya left the coordinates, it can be transferred by spending enough yen chi. This ability was just developed by Chiya last night, and the only coordinate is this room. Fortunately, Chiya developed this ability last night. Otherwise, Menchi is really in danger today. Chiya's super speed can take Menchi away, but that is when Menchi turns on Nen defense. But even so, being entangled by Chiya's super speed, Menchi still suffered some slight damage. That is to say, Menchi is a foodie, he doesn't care about anything in order to eat, and he still finds Chiya to cooperate when he knows that Chiya's speed has such disadvantages. However, Menchi is seriously injured now, and it is impossible to defend against Chiya's thunder. Take Menchi away with super speed? That would be tantamount to making matters worse. Chiya can guarantee that before Menchi arrives at the hospital, the seriously injured Menchi will be exacerbated by the severe injury caused by the lightning on his body and die. So, this time Menchi is really lucky, and she deserves to die. Slap. As soon as it landed, Chiya ran outside with Menchi in his arms. While walking, Chiya was talking on the phone. Contact the driver who brought him here last time. In the case of not being able to use super speed, the car is the fastest means of transportation. Chiya is not as fast as a car without using the super fast Chiya. Menchi's condition is dire and needs to be treated as quickly as possible, as delaying it for too long could be life-threatening. It seems that we must cultivate a healing ability, otherwise it will be the same as this time, powerless. Chiya was thinking while running towards the periphery of Shimale Wetland at the fastest speed other than the super speed state. The nearest city to Bolero City and Shimale Wetland. In the largest hospital in the city, in a luxurious ward, Chiya quietly looked at Menchi lying unconscious on the hospital bed. It has been 3 days since I came here. When the driver called by Chiya arrived, he was frightened after seeing Chiya and Menchi's situation, and wanted to turn around and leave without wanting to get involved. After all, the situation of the two of them is not a good thing at first glance. Although the driver likes the white money, he doesn't want to be involved in inexplicable strange things because of it. But under Chiya's indifferent eyes, the driver chose Kongshin and obediently drove Chiya and Menchi to the largest hospital in the city center. After coming here, Chiya directly used the energy of the Zoldyck family and arranged for the best doctor in the vicinity to treat Menchi. After the doctor's hard work, Menchi's life was saved, but he remained in a coma. From the doctor, Chiya learned that Menchi should wake up within a week. It may be 1 day, it may be 2 days, or even a week. It all depends on Menchi's own willpower. This guy doesn't seem very smart, and even though she yelled in such a place, she still let her guard down. I really don't know how she became a food hunter, but judging by her age, she should still be a newcomer. Experienced. What a ghost, or is it the nature of a foodie? Seeing that Samo-K's egg disappeared, he completely ignored other things. Looking at Menchi who was in a coma, Chiya complained silently. It's fine to yell to bring Samo-K back, but after knowing that Samo-K has arrived, you are still in a daze? Isn't this courting death? Looking at Menchi's normal ECG, Chiya shook his head speechlessly. Afterwards, Chiya got up and left here. Ya Mayan, I will leave this place to you. Walking out of the ward, Menchi instructed the girl in a suit standing outside the ward. Yes, Master Chiya. The girl in a suit agreed solemnly upon hearing this. Ya Mayan is the housekeeper transferred by Chiya from Kukulu Mountain, and is the granddaughter of Silva Zoldyck's direct housekeeper, Zeponian. He is also a housekeeper that Chiya got along well with in Kukulu Mountain. Since Chiya was a child, he has been by Chiya's side under the command of Silva. This time when this happened, Chiya called the Linentone to help take care of it. Chiya himself, this time coming to Shimale Wetland, Chiya's purpose is to obtain strengthening points from the monsters in Wetmele Wetland. Naturally, it is impossible to stop his plan because of Menchi. Although you can't get strengthening points from special items like Samo-K's eggs, it doesn't prevent Chiya from killing monsters to get them. Therefore, now that Menchi has settled down, Chiya is also preparing to return to the wetland. As for why Chiya specifically called Ya Mayan over instead of other housekeepers. Chiya only trusts Lin Yin, he really can't believe the other housekeepers. Because the other stewards will more or less obey Silva and Aluma. Asking other housekeepers to come over, Chiya was afraid that Silva and the others would order the housekeeper to kill Menchi if they knew that they had specially asked the housekeeper of the Zoldyck family to look after an outsider. Because, in their minds, the future head of House Zoldyck needs no friends. And only the Linentone can be trusted by Chiya. Hey, Ya Ma Yin, you are my only playmate now, and this is not the Zoldyck family, you don't have to be sullen when facing me, just relax. Looking at Ya Ma Yin's stern face, Chiya was slightly speechless, sound persuasion. When Ya Mayan heard this, her face was slightly relaxed, but at the next moment, she suddenly thought of something, her face changed slightly, and she became serious again. Seeing this, Chiya sighed again, without saying anything, reached out to pat Ya Mayan's arm, and then left. Being small as F***ked, you can't pat your shoulders, you can only pat your arms. Menchi is not very smart, so I don't want to cooperate with her anymore. Moreover, the number of special items such as Samo-K's eggs is too small. I better deal with these monsters honestly, and I can also increase them. Some battle experience. Chiya was thinking silently on the way to the wetland of Shimale. This guy Menchi is too excitable, and he made mistakes one after another in the dangerous place deep in the wetland. Chiya felt that if he cooperated with her, he would be cheated to death. In addition, Chiya overestimated the number of eggs of Samoke. So Chiya decided to give up cooperating with her. Well, although this guy's cooking skills are top-notch and make people linger, but compared to the nature of his crap, Chiya still resists the temptation of delicious food. Soon, Chiya entered the outskirts of the wetland and came to the Hunter Association's residence. Before entering the depths of the wetland again, let's cultivate the healing Nen. If you want to fight for a long time in such a dangerous place, the ability to heal is a must. Thinking silently, Chiya came into the room. The most beneficial systems for practicing healing abilities are Manipulator, Traits, Conjurer, and Enhancer. As for the other two systems, it might be possible to cultivate the ability to heal, but the Nen cultivated is more effective than the gain. I don't need to think about Nen of Traits and Conjurer for the time being, so my choices are only Manipulator and Enhancer. Chiya's trait system and conjurer system have already been developed, and it is difficult to develop other abilities on this basis. So if you want to develop healing ability, then the choice for Chiya is Manipulator and Enhancer. The choice made by Chiya is Manipulator. It only takes 1000 reinforcement points to open the new Nen system. As long as Chiya uses 1000 reinforcement points, Chiya's physique will change, awaken the Manipulator system, and let the Nen Chi in the body show the characteristics of the Manipulator. However, this awakening is different from the awakening of the Nen system drawn by Chiya before. The system awakening that Chiya drew before was to randomly awaken a Nen system and gain an ability. And this kind of system attribute that consumes strengthening points to awaken only allows you to obtain a Nen system yourself, and will not directly awaken the ability. The Nen of this system requires you to cultivate by yourself, and what kind of ability you cultivate depends entirely on yourself. After awakening the Manipulator system, Chiya can use this system to cultivate and manifest items and props with healing abilities. Of course, Chiya can also use strengthening points to redevelop a healing ability in the trait department and conjurer. However, these two systems of Chiya have already developed capabilities, and to quickly develop new capabilities on this basis, the required enhancement points are fully doubled, requiring 2000. Chiya only has more than 2000 strengthening points now. Once this method is used, the healing ability really needs Chiya to cultivate slowly. Chiya doesn't have time to practice slowly here. When he cultivates the Nen who heals, the day lily will be cold. So Chiya is going to use the strengthening point to directly let himself develop the Manipulator to manifest the healing props. The ability of the Manipulator is to manifest the desired items, props, or weapons with the mind. As for the characteristics of the manifested items, it depends on the imagination of the Nen. As long as your mind is big enough, the mind can, if you have enough chi, you can change the nature of the thought chi by relying on your brain hole, and anything can be manifested. Of course, this ability also has a limit, and this limit is the ability of the weak. It is naturally impossible for items and props that exceed the abilities of Nen to be materialized. As for the Enhancer, if the Enhancer is cultivated to a certain level, it is true that the Nen have the ability to heal themselves. It is a passive ability, but it can only be achieved at a certain level. I want to strengthen to the kind of Enhancer Nen that allows me to have healing ability. Sorry, Chiya's current enhancement points are not enough. Chiya estimates that to activate the Enhancer and strengthen the Enhancer Nen to the point of healing itself, at least it needs to be at the same level as his current Conjurer Nen, and the required reinforcement points are estimated to be 6 to 7,000 or even tens of thousands. Thinking of this, Chiya silently gave up the plan to activate the Enhancer system. Use 1000 points of strengthening points to open the Manipulator system, and use 1000 points to designate realization of Nen treatment. Chiya said silently in his heart. Ding. Use 1000 reinforcement points to awaken. Congratulations to the host for awakening the Manipulator Nen system. Ding. Use 1000 strengthening points to designate Nen and heal. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Nen Manifestation Angel Ring. The system's ability to handle affairs is very fast. As soon as Chiya finished speaking, the system responded with an ethereal. The voice rang in Chiya's mind. The next moment, Chiya felt that some changes had taken place in his body, and the thoughts in his body had changed. Similar to the previous awakening of the trait system, Chiya's Nyan Chi has changed again at this time, giving birth to a completely different trait from the conjurer in the trait system. Feeling the change of mind energy in his body, Chiya remained silent. Stretching out his hand gently, A blue wave of thoughts emerged in Chiya's hand. Immediately afterwards, this thought energy began to condense, and in just a second, this thought energy turned into a silver ring, which appeared on the middle finger of Chiya's right hand. Chiya looked at the silver ring on his finger, and thought a little. Then a green light appeared in Chiya's hand. Chiya looked at it, and then his left hand changed into a ferocious life-threatening hand. Sharp nails pierced the palm of his hand, and a wound appeared, bleeding continuously. Chiya covered the wound with green light. I saw that the wound began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye, and it returned to its original state in about 10 seconds, without leaving any scars. 10 seconds? It's not bad, but it's not enough. It only takes 10 seconds to treat this kind of wound, and more serious injuries will take more time. In high-intensity battles, this recovery speed cannot be achieved. Effect. However, the strengthening points are gone, so we can only wait until we get enough strengthening points again before strengthening. Name. Chiya Zoldyck abilities. Conjurer Nen Speed Thunder, 5000. Trait Nen Space, 5000. Manipulator Nen Ring of Angels, 1000. Note. The strengthening points required for the next strengthening are in brackets. Strengthening points. 302 item. Aluminum alloy yo-yo. The Ring of Angels, I can use it 3 times a day. This is a limit. If it is strengthened again, the number of times I can use it every day will increase, and the healing ability will become stronger. Then, now that you have the healing ability, it's time to go. After shaking hands, Chiya said lightly, then turned and left, heading towards the depths of the wetland. Silva, look at what Chiya has done. He actually arranged for a butler to take care of an outsider. How can this be possible? Chiya is too presumptuous. Cuckoo Lucian, the Zoldyck family, screamed together. The sound suddenly sounded, and in a room, Kikyo, who was wearing a kimono, was covering his head with his hands and shaking violently. His face seemed to be very disbelieving. It's so noisy, Kikyo. This guy Chiya has his own ideas, don't interfere. Facing Kikyo's screams, which are enough to bring the dead back to life, Silva's expression didn't change at all, as if he didn't hear this at all. The lethal scream is average. Silva. What are you talking about? Chiya is not allowed to have too deep communication with outsiders. It is already unacceptable to transfer a housekeeper from the family just to take care of a woman. Chiya is so young, she must have been confused by that woman. It must be that vixen, she must be killed. Hearing Silva's calm words, Kikyo couldn't calm down and shouted at Silva excitedly. Roared. Immediately, her brain circuit did not know what to do, and she suddenly imagined that Chiya was confused by Menchi and regarded Menchi as a vixen. After brainstorming, Kikyo rushed out directly. Sitting on the cushion, Silva looked at Kikyo, who left madly. His stiff face changed slightly, and he sighed slightly. Kikyo is good in everything, but he has a crazy personality, especially when it comes to Chiya. However, it's really strange that Chiya actually does such a thing. No, this kind of thing may be very strange or even impossible for Illuma and the others, but it feels very normal to Chiya. His character is like this, different from other people in the family. However, this is not a good thing. Chiya, you are the heir to the assassination world, the future head of the Zoldyck family. You can't let your emotions control you. Let Kikyo teach you well. The stiff face softened slightly, but Silva's eyes shone with a cold light. Chiya didn't know what happened in Kukulu Mountain. At this time, Chiya had stepped into the depths of Shimmel Wetland again. However, Chiya was not as lucky as the last 2 times when he entered the Wetmele Wetland this time. This time entering the depths of the Wetmele Wetland, Chiya was directly targeted by Samoke. Cutting off children and grandchildren made Desamoke's anger break through the sky, and there is no possibility of calming down. For the past 2 days, Samoke has been lying in ambush at the entrance to the depths of the wetland. As soon as Chiya stepped here, he immediately attacked Chiya. Suddenly, the entire Wetmele Wetland was surging. The sound of huge explosions continued to spread in the Wetmele Wetland. Even in the depths of this wetland shrouded in dense fog, the sky at this time is covered with dark clouds and extremely dark, with the sound of thunder roaring from time to time, and the faint blue thunder and lightning continue to strike down from the sky. On the ground, there were continuous bursts of explosions. In the smoke, Chiya's figure kept flickering, causing waves of thunder and explosions. On the opposite side of Chiya is a colossal monster shrouded in dense fog, its huge lantern-like eyes exuding scarlet color. Every time the huge animal claws fall, the ground can be cracked and broken stones fly across. Where a man and a beast are, the earth crumbles, and no peace is complete. Lightning. In the state of super speed, Chiya quickly dodged the attack of Samoke, and then used his own lightning to trigger the thunderclouds in the sky to drop a powerful thunder. It's not that Chiya's current ability can already affect the weather, but because Chiya's luck is very good. Well, I don't know if it's good or bad. As soon as she entered the depths of the wetland, Chiya was targeted by Samoke and was almost seriously injured by a sneak attack. However, as soon as he entered here, the current climate in the depths of the wetland provided Chiya with an excellent place to fight. The dark clouds, dense clouds, lightning and thunder made Chiya, who used thunder to fight, at least strengthened several levels of combat power. With this climate, Chiya only needs to use a little thunder in his body to pull a powerful thunder from the sky to attack Samoke. Needless to say, thunder's speed is fast, but Samoke has a huge body. Facing this kind of attack, he can only passively withstand and defend, unable to evade, just like a target. More than 20 minutes have passed since the beginning. The battle between the two was back and forth, and Samoke was bombarded by thunder for such a long time. If it wasn't for the fact that Samoke is a top monster with rough skin and thick flesh, plus it also has the defense of Nianqi, its skin would have been ripped apart under the bombardment of the thunder. The top monsters also have the mind energy that humans have. They will automatically awaken mind energy after they reach adulthood. However, monsters are not the same as humans, they will not develop mind energy, and only use mind energy to attack and defend. Miscalculation, Samoke is worthy of being one of the overlords in the depths of the wetland. If I didn't have the time, I would definitely have a 70% chance of winning or losing a battle with this guy. I am 3, and this guy is 70%. This guy has rough skin and thick flesh. He can't break through his physical defense at all. Moreover, although he is big, he is flexible and agile. My speed can't play a big role. If it's normal, I can't beat him, I can only run away. But now, the time is with me. As long as you keep using it, no matter how strong your defense is, you will definitely not be my opponent. Holding the thunder in his hand, Chiya's expression will be full of confidence. This is the conclusion that Chiya came to in the fight with Samoke just now. Samoke's defense is really too strong. Chiya's full attack can only hurt the flesh and fur, and can't cause any real useful damage to him at all. Moreover, the speed that Chiya is proud of cannot play a decisive role. Although Samke's speed is slightly inferior to Chiya, it is not much different. Basically, 5 times out of 10 attacks will be defeated by Samoke. Resist. However, Chiya is not discouraged, because the time of day is now on Chiya's side. The dark clouds all over the sky are Chiya's most powerful helper. As soon as the words fell, Chiya turned into a blue light again and attacked Samoke. The fist wrapped in thunder struck with Samoke's giant claws. The destructive thunder exploded on Samoke's giant claw, blasting out a scorched black smoking wound on Samoke's giant claw, and the pain from the wound made Samoke growl. And Chiya also flew upside down because of Samoke's huge strength. And Samoke, after roaring, didn't care about the scorched black wound in his hand at all. After hitting Chiya with a blow, he attacked Chiya, who was flying upside down again. Thunder. Boom. Facing Samoke's pursuit, Chiya is temporarily unable to fight back, but Chiya is not without methods of confrontation. While flying upside down, he stretched out his hand and directly pulled down a powerful thunderbolt to directly confront Samoke. Samoke's offensive stopped immediately, and Chiya also seized the opportunity, turned over and landed on the ground, gliding on the ground for more than 10 meters before stopping. Worthy of being one of the overlords, the physical strength is really terrifying. Looking up, Chiya looked at Moke and shook his hands. Although he was not discouraged, his eyes revealed strong aggrievedness. Even with the Nianqi bonus, Chiya's strength is still too weak. My physical strength is too weak, I need to improve my physique. After fighting for half an hour, Chiya's whole body is now sore. The strength of Samoke is too strong. Every time they fight, Chiya is at a disadvantage in terms of strength. It's not an opponent at all, although my own thunder can hurt it. But he would be bombarded every time. Chiya's physique can be said to be very strong. After all, Chiya has been able to open 4 doors of the trial door of the Zoldyck family. But in the face of Samoke's attack, he was still powerless and couldn't resist it at all. It's decided. After collecting enough strengthening points, turn on the enhancer system. The enhancer is specialized in cultivating the physical body, and it is also the most suitable for fighting. Its power is very terrifying. At the same time, the body of the nen of the enhancer is basically very strong, because when the nen of the enhancer is practicing, the physique is at the level of the enhancer Nyanki. The warming will gradually become stronger. As for how much it will become stronger, it depends entirely on the nen itself, and on the strength of the nen's thoughts. The nen of the enhancer can also be divided into 3 types of practice, which are to strengthen oneself, strengthen props, and the healing ability of the body. These 3 kinds have typical representatives in the original works. Uvajin's body enhancement. Uvajin's enhancer nen is to strengthen itself, making its own body extremely powerful. Each blow has a very powerful force, and its Nirvana Super Destruction Fist is even more powerful than a missile. Nobunaga's weapon is strengthened, the face is injected into the weapon, and then everything around him is cut off with a knife. In the original book, Nobunaga uses this ability to resurrect Uvajin, who has a body of steel, with one knife. As for the third healing ability, this healing ability is to strengthen and activate cells, accelerate metabolism, and metabolize injured tissues, thereby achieving the ability to heal injuries. This can also be regarded as the basic ability of an enhancer. Every enhancer nen can do it, but the ability is different. And after Chiya fought with Samo-Kei, what he longed for most at this time was the enhancer's physical strengthening ability. Fighting against Samo-Kei, every time he was blown away due to lack of strength, this made Chiya very annoyed. After this time, Chiya didn't want to put herself in this situation anymore. Although the current situation is that he has the advantage, this kind of battle is too useless. Chiya's eyes exuded a cold light, staring fixedly at Samo-Kei in front of him. Chiya no longer confronted Samo-Kei, but kept waving his hands, pulling thunderbolts down from the sky, striking Samo-Kei's head, and the whole sky lit up, flickering, wet and happy. Most of the fog in the depths dissipated at this moment. Zizi, zizi. The faint blue thunder and lightning exploded, continuously swimming along Samo-Kei's body, destroying Samo-Kei's body. Snapped. Finally, an abnormal sound came out from Samo-Kei's body, and in the thick fog, a bright red blood sprayed out. There was a crack in Samo-Kei's arm, and blood spurted out. Seeing this scene, Chiya's eyes lit up. Chiya knew that this guy's physical defense had reached its limit. The reason why Chiya's attack can't play a big role is because the defense on Samo-Kei's body is too strong. The thunder can only attack the surface of Samo-Kei's body and cause flesh wounds but cannot damage its internal organs. However, now, with Chiya's continuous attacks, wounds finally appeared on Samo-Kei's body. This means that Chiya's next attack, every thunder, can penetrate into the body of Mo-Kei and cause very serious damage to Mo-Kei. Thinking of this, Chiya was extremely excited inside. As long as it continues, this guy can be killed soon. Excited in his heart, Chiya waved his hand, ready to pull the thunder from the sky to attack again. However, at this moment, Samo-Kei suddenly changed. At this moment, the dense fog that has been entwined all year round and never dissipated slowly dissipated, revealing its true appearance. Seeing this scene, Chiya's pupils shrank suddenly, and his face changed suddenly. It's not because of the real appearance that Samo-Kei showed. The appearance of Samo-Kei is very ordinary, exactly like a bear, but the body is even bigger. The reason why Chiya's face changed drastically was because the fog that spread from Samo-Kei's body brought a very strong crisis to Chiya at this moment. What's going on? Why is it like this? It's not that Chiya didn't touch the dense fog when he fought against Samo-Kei just now, but it didn't give Chiya this sense. But now, as soon as the fog dissipates, but such a big change has taken place. Is it because of Samo-Kei itself? No, no, this sense of crisis is not Samo-Kei itself, it is indeed transmitted from these fogs. Now these fogs are very special and dangerous. Speaking of which, when Menchi introduced this guy last time, he seemed to have said that Samo-Kei is a monster in the fog. Is this the reason? Staring at the scattered thick fog, Chiya didn't attack rashly. Instead, be vigilant and adapt. Chiya didn't know what kind of harm these fogs were, which made him feel such a strong sense of crisis. However, just because Chiya doesn't attack doesn't mean that Samo-Kei will be like Chiya. At this time, Samo-Kei had completely lost his mind under the monstrous anger. With a wave of the huge bear's paw, the mist scattered around his body was controlled by him, enveloping towards Chiya. As the dense fog approached, the cells in Chiya's body began to send out alarms every moment. In this regard, Chiya avoided it without hesitation. But, however, the dense fog was too dense. Chiya was completely unavoidable, and in just 5 seconds, Chiya was surrounded by dense fog. Z's. At the moment Chiya was surrounded, the dense fog came into contact with Chiya. In the next second, the lightning on Chiya's body changed, making a buzzing sound. The next moment, a spark erupted from the lightning on Chiya's body, and Chiya's pupils shrank suddenly. Boom. There was no time for Chiya to react. Just for a short moment, Chiya was completely enveloped by the flames all over the sky. A violent explosion sounded, and the place where Chiya was turned into a monstrous sea of flames, spreading for 100 meters. The flames burned fiercely and spread to the surroundings. Samoke's huge body stood tall in the fire, ignoring the fire as nothing. Swish. Suddenly, a distressed figure rushed out of the sea and landed not far from the edge. This figure was Chiya. At this time, Chiya had already withdrawn from the super speed state, with severe burns all over his body. His clothes were also in tatters, and his light blue eyes stared uncertainly at Samoke in the fire. Restrained. A thought flashed in Chiya's mind. Chiya knew very well that her speed was restrained by Samoke. The dense fog emitted by Samok will be ignited once it encounters thunder and lightning. No, it should be said that it will turn into raging fire when it encounters Nyanki. Cannot be used, as the power of the fire will increase dramatically. The silver ring on the middle finger of the right hand emitted a gentle green light covering Chiya's body, and began to heal her own injuries. Chiya stared intently at Samoke, who was not moving, with a gloomy face. When Chiya was staring at Samoke, Samoke also stared at him and looked at Chiya together. Those giant eyes were full of hatred for Chiya. However, at the next moment, Chiya was stunned by the action of Samoke. She turned around and walked not far away, without any intention of taking advantage of your illness to kill you. How is this going? Huh. Those special fogs are gone. At this moment, Chiya suddenly noticed that the fog that made him feel dangerous had completely disappeared. Slightly frowning, Chiya looked at the departing Samoke. At this time the aura on Samoke's body weakened a lot. These fogs are trump cards. After using them, their strength will weaken, but this trump card failed to kill me, so this guy chose to leave here. Soon, Chiya thought of the reason for Samoke's actions, and suddenly his eyes lit up, and his eyes sparkled when he looked at the retreating Samoke. Hee, cunning guy, you want to get out of your body after hurting me like this? Dream. Without these thick fogs, and the strength has been weakened so much, you beast, die here. With the thought, Chiya entered the super speed state again. The thunder and lightning on his body bloomed quickly, dancing for joy. One after another of terrifying thunder snakes stretched out long letters, provoking all directions. Everything around them was illuminated, and the terrifying destructive energy became more ferocious. For a moment, Chiya is like a god of thunder coming down to earth. With an indifferent expression, Chiya stretched out his hand, and once again pulled the thunder and lightning in the sky. This time, Chiya did his best to directly gather all the thunder energy in the entire sky. I saw that the entire sky was getting lower and lower at this time, and the dense dark clouds seemed to be directly pressed down. The frequency of thunder roaring in the clouds became more and more frequent, and the thunder danced from the dark clouds from time to time. The army is under pressure, ready to go, and the sound of thunder resounds, echoing continuously in the entire sky. Roar. And Samoke, who was leaving, also sensed the crisis pass down from the sky, and knew that Chiya had no intention of stopping the war. His huge body kept trampling on the ground, roaring to the sky, and a powerful aura continued on Samoke's body. Condensed, the already very fragile earth burst open at this moment. And at the next moment, Samoke's furious roar stopped abruptly, and then his body rushed towards Chiya at a speed that had never appeared before, without any warning at all. I've been on guard against you for a long time, you cunning bastard. Facing the sudden impact, Chiya was not surprised at all, and slashed down towards the ground with one hand. The pillar of thunder that connected heaven and earth also fell from the sky at this moment. No matter how fast Samoke was, it could not be faster than the thunder, and the thunder just hit the impacting Samoke head-on. Boom. There was an explosion today, and the entire land was bathed in a blue sea of thunder and lightning. Samoke's screams continued to roar in the sea of thunder and lightning. Since the last time he knew that Moke was hiding his speed, Chiya knew about Moke's cunning. He liked to make surprise attacks, and he was always on guard against Moke when he was fighting with Moke. Menchi was seriously injured 2 days ago because of this guy's cunning, and he is still lying in the hospital. Knowing this situation, how could Chiya not be on guard? Your defense has been broken, and you have been hit by such a powerful thunder. no matter how powerful your vitality is, you can't survive. Squinting his eyes, Chiya looked at the whiteness in front of him, with a smile on his mouth, and said silently. However, as soon as Chiya finished speaking, Chiya's eyes widened suddenly, and then quickly closed. The next moment, Chiya activated her spatial ability without hesitation, and moved herself away from here. And less than a second after Chiya left here, a terrifying explosion swept out from the sea of thunder and lightning, and in the blink of an eye, the 1,000-meter radius was completely turned into a huge sea of flames. On the outskirts of Shamail Wetland, in the Hunter Association's residence, in Chiya's room, a figure in a state of embarrassment appeared with white light. I'm going. This Samoke is really shit. If you disagree with me, you will blow yourself up. It was almost affected. Chiya sat down on the ground as soon as he appeared, and murmured with a heavy sigh of relief. Just now, after the thunderbeam hit Samoke, without screaming a few times, Samoke directly gathered the strength of its whole body and blew itself up. This really made Chiya a little confused, and blew himself up if he didn't agree with each other. Chiya never expected that Moke would be so stupid. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing the Warcraft overlord Samoke and getting 3,125. Worthy of being the overlord of Warcraft, one has so many enhancement points, it is not at the same level as those coquettish bastards before. In the wetland of Wetmelee before, the highest number of monsters that Chiya killed was only a few 110 points, and only one Samoke gave Chiya more than 3,000 points, which is incomparable. It's a world of difference. In the depths of the wetland, apart from Samoke, there should be other overlords. These are potential strengthening points. After recovery, enter it again to find other powerful monsters. After tasting the sweetness, Chiya fixed his eyes on the other Warcraft overlords in the depths of the wetland. Goo. At this moment, a thunderous sound sounded from Chiya's abdomen. Chiya was taken aback for a moment, and then covered his abdomen. I've been playing for so long just now, I'm a little exhausted, and I'm hungry. Speaking of which, there doesn't seem to be anything to eat here. Do you want to go back to the city? No, it seems that there is something to eat. I haven't eaten the eggs I got from Sam Moke's lair before. Chiya, with a growling stomach, thought of the eggs he got earlier. Chiya hasn't touched the 3 eggs since they got them, and they have been lying in the system space. With a slight thought, Chiya took out one of them. Well, sure enough, the boiled eggs made by that guy Menchi are delicious. However, that guy is not here now, so I can only boil them casually. Looking at the giant egg in his hand, Chiya sighed. Chiya couldn't forget the boiled eggs she ate last time, and she still hasn't forgotten the wonderful taste. However, that is the result of Menchi's superb cooking skills and a variety of delicious condiments. As a rookie who doesn't know anything about cooking, Chiya naturally couldn't make that kind of food, so he could only settle for the next best thing and cook it casually. Holding the giant egg, Chiya walked towards the kitchen in the residence. After finding the huge soup bucket that Menchi used last time, and adding a lot of water, Chiya directly threw Samoke's eggs into it, covered the lid, and lit the fire directly. Ding. Congratulations to the host for gaining access to subclass abilities and cooking. And at the moment Chiya put the lid on, the ethereal voice of the system sounded in Chiya's mind, and Chiya was stunned for a moment. What the hell? Deputy ability. Cooking. Chiya couldn't help but cast his gaze on the attribute panel. Name. Chiya Zoldyck ability. Nen. Conjurer Nen Speed Thunder, 5000. Trait Nen Space, 5000. Manipulator Nen Ring of Angels, 1000. Note. The strengthening points required for the next strengthening are in brackets. Subclass ability. Cooking Rookie, 50. Strengthening points. 3427. Item. Aluminum Alloy Yo-Yo. What's going on here? System, come out and explain. Deputy ability, that is, an ability that is closely related to life, will be activated as long as the host touches related things. The host's action just now is the first cooking since the system was activated, so the host has obtained the cooking ability. Of course, this ability it is still at the rookie level. Please continue to work hard on the host. The host can also use strengthening points to strengthen the host's living ability. Friendly reminder. Because it is a subclass ability, the enhancement points required for enhancement are different from the host's main ability, and the required enhancement points are extremely small. So that's the case, is that so? That is to say, as long as I contact or learn, then these living abilities will be activated. Moreover, these living abilities can also be strengthened, and there are not many strengthening points required. System. How many enhancement points do I need to enhance my cooking ability to the top level? Chiya asked the system. Host. Subclass ability is bounded by the host's current world. The host's current world and cooking culture are not prosperous. It can only strengthen 3 levels, namely primary cooking, intermediate cooking and high-level cooking, the food that the host encounters. The cooking level of Hunter Menchi is in the stage of high-level cooking, and they need 50, 100, 200 respectively, and a total of 350 enhancement points. Algo, it's really rare. Hearing the system's answer, Chiya swears directly. Although somewhat expected, Chiya really didn't expect that there are so few enhancement points needed to enhance the ability of a deputy. It only takes 350 points to upgrade from cooking novice to high-end cooking, that is, Menchi, a chef who can make that kind of wonderful cooking. System. Strengthen my cooking ability to a high level. It's just such a small enhancement point, Chiya can afford it completely, and there is no need to think about it at all. Ding. Use 350 enhancement points to strengthen the subclass ability cooking. Congratulations to the host for obtaining advanced cooking ability. Friendly reminder. If the host wants to continue to strengthen, he must reach a world where the cooking culture is prosperous to continue strengthening. Although Chiya heard the system's prompt, she had no time to pay attention to it. At this time, a lot of information flooded into Chiya's mind, which was all kinds of knowledge and information related to cooking. At the same time, Chiya's body also changed, and a series of physical memories poured into Chiya's mind, perfectly fused with Chiya, and became Chiya's instinct. In just 5 seconds, Chiya changed from a culinary novice has become a gourmet with advanced cooking skills. Slowly opened his eyes, a ray of light shot out from Chiya's eyes. Chiya's expression was slightly dazed. The cuisine is really profound. After a few seconds, Chiya sighed silently and said with emotion. After receiving all the information, Chiya is very clear about how strong his cooking ability is at this time. If Chiya's current cooking ability was placed in her previous life, she would be invincible. Even the chefs of those 5-star hotels would not be able to compare with Chiya. Immediately, Chiya set his sights on the soup bucket.